The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping.
Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Here we go. Welcome to the Pat McAfee Show. I'm AJ Hawk sitting in at Pat's desk. He's down in Atlanta for a big game, boys. There was a big game last night. Lions beat the Cowboys. Football! It happened last night. Obviously, one of the best ever on the call. Obviously, up there, and Peter makes an appearance. Pat, I know you're down at the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Dome right there in Atlanta, Georgia for the SEC Championship. Who do you got with you there? You got a couple guests.
Yeah, obviously, living legend Peter is here. Peter Herbstreit, an absolute stallion, and then Kirk Herbstreit, fresh off the call last night up in Detroit.
Shake his hand, Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk.
What the hell was that?
What just happened?
Thank you, Chase.
Does he have that Howie Mandel thing?
That was unbelievable.
I thought you were doing Kirk Herbstreit.
Oh, the knife hand.
I didn't know you were. Yeah, I thought knife hand.
Okay, I respect that. I understand that. Peter's here, obviously, but Kirk, obviously, fresh off a flight from Detroit down here to Atlanta for the SEC Championship. It just means more, doesn't it? That's kind of the big selling point, is it just means more down here.
That's what they say. Yep.
Alabama versus Georgia. It's obviously storied in tradition and a rivalry, seemingly as long as ball has been ball. Two great teams trying to take home the SEC Championship.
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's always a great scene. We do all these games from the beginning to the end, all the way to the national championship. And I always say, and people would say that these conference championships, they don't matter the way they used to. Show up here Saturday at 4 o'clock and feel the vibe and the energy that'll be in this dome. It's still a championship on the line. It's not what it used to be. You win this, you advance in the old days. You lose, you're out. But this is still going to be as good a scene I think college football has to offer.
Now, there's some championship games where if they lose, they're obviously out of the conversation. If they win, they might be out of the college football playoff conversation, and certainly chaos could happen throughout championship Saturday. The Big Ten obviously has number 1 versus number 2. And, AJ, I talked to you. Thank you for traveling over to Indianapolis to the Thunderdome on this glorious Dookie Feel-Good Friday. On that note, Ohio State, very used to the Big Ten championship games, very used to the massive moments, very used to it all. Indiana under Cignetti here, already in a Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis. SeatGeek sending us stats. The Hoosiers, I think, are about to fill up the Loud House in the Lucas Oil Stadium. They're not just going to fill up the stadium at night. I think the entire city all day. Well, how did people in Columbus feel about this? You beat the cute Indiana Hoosiers last year, right? That is kind of maybe the thought. Or do you have respect for their team this year? Or how do you think Ohio State fans feel about the championship as a whole?
No, I think the people that I have been around, the people I talk to, they have a ton of respect for Cignetti and what Indiana has done. I mean, Indiana is legit. I don't think you can doubt them anymore. He comes back after the great year last year, and they put on another unbelievable performance. So I think it's a great, what do you call it? Like measuring tool or measuring thing to say, hey,
measuring stick.
Litmus test, all of those old cliches you want to talk about. But I believe, Kirk, you would know even better than I believe Ryan Day said nobody on this team currently has won a Big Ten championship. This is a big deal for these guys. They want to win. What's the old say? If they're keeping score, we want to win the game, even though it is a little different now with the college football playoff in the future.
Yeah, AJ, anytime, if you're a player, you're playing for a championship, and you're playing a team, let's face it, you're talking about do you respect Indiana? How can you not respect Indiana? Based on what they did last year, but to me, what they've done this year, they're a very different team this second year with Cignetti because of the line of scrimmage. They're tough to run the football on. They established their run game. Mendoza gets a lot of the recognition and the credit, which he should. But, guys, I've been more impressed with they go to Eugene, Oregon and win. They go into Iowa City in a tough environment and find a way to win without their fastball. They've just overcome the play against Penn State at the end of the game. Like, they've got some moxie about them. They got some belief. I just don't think if this were last year, it'd be like, what'd you say, cute story?
Yeah, it's cute,
That's kind of what last year. This isn't that way this year. I think it's a different Indiana team, and I think the atmosphere in there is going to be electric. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be spectacular. And you talk about maybe this year being different than last year. I think Cignetti can feel it too. Cignetti, AJ, said, I don't have to be the person that's just like causing headline after headline after headline every single week with everything I'm saying about how great our team is and how terrible every other team is. I think he even says, like, I think we're at a different spot now than we were before. I think that's true. And
they've been tested this year. They were not really tested last year. They've been tested, and they've found ways to win. And I think that gives you a very different team getting into a matchup like this.
Let's go to one half of the hammer.
Dahn.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Cowboys,
I'm in there.
AP Tone, their defense, too, has a little bit of maturity, too, right, at all three levels on the Indiana side. I think a lot of people, obviously, last year, Kid Canada's little brother certainly tearing it up O'Rourke on the offensive side, surprising a lot of people. They wondered about the defense matching up against the big bodies of the big schools. This year, they got some continuity, and they have some people return at big places. Indiana is ready for this, right? Or is anybody ready for Ohio State with the way they look?
Real quick before the guys respond to that, I think that's what we don't know. We keep saying about Ohio State, how good are they? Well, they went to Michigan in a really tough rivalry game in a tough environment, and I think all of us walked away from that like, yep, they are that team. This team could be somehow better than they were last year because of the way they're getting Julian Sands playing, the maturity on the outside with Cardell Tate and Jeremiah Smith and Ennis. They can run the ball now with Bo Jackson. The offensive line looks better. And I think this defense, they are dominant. But with all that being said, again, it's as good against good. So, and what's great is it's not subjective analysis. We're going to see 60 minutes of these teams kicking each other's asses, which I think that's what we want to see. Who's the better team?
A lot of subjective analysis coming on this particular program today. The athletic director of Notre Dame, Pete Bevacqua, will be joining us at 12:40 Eastern time. But, Tone, I think the defensive side of Indiana, they are definitely and should be much more confident this year than maybe last year. Does anybody have anything to hold up against Ohio State? And I think Indiana can really do this thing, especially with what Lucas Oil is going to be like.
Agreed. And the All Big Ten team came out yesterday, I believe, and 13 of the 22 positions were either Ohio State or Indiana for first team All Big Ten. So this is obviously a 1 versus 2. But what you're talking about, Indiana had 3 All Big Ten defenders last year: Mikhail Kamara, Aiden Fisher, and then D'Angelo Pons. That was D-tackle, linebacker, and corner. They all came back. They're all Big Ten. Again, Kamara leads the country in pressures from the interior. Aiden Fisher, obviously, is the leader at the linebacker position. And then Pons is first team All Big Ten, again, at corner. So they have guys at every single level. To be like Ohio State, Indiana, these are the 2 best teams that they're going to face all season long. Yeah, IU played Oregon, which was a really, really good test, but is Oregon Ohio State? Probably not. We saw that last year. And then coming into this year, Ohio State has only gotten better on both sides of the ball. So, no, this is going to be the best test for both teams, and 2 of the best teams in the country facing each other on Saturday night. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're very excited for championship weekend, and obviously Peter is getting his workout in around this stadium, a place that he frequents. He knows this place very, very well. But let's talk about last night with another place that Peter was at and you were at. How about them Detroit Lions? Foxy, I haven't even really got a chance to chit-chat with you about this.
Foxy.
Because, the game ran late. But, Foxy, huge win for the Lions. Are we all the way back? I know we got a couple injuries, obviously, that are going to continue to maybe haunt this Detroit Lions team for whatever, I guess. Are they always going to catch an injury bug, which is just, as Peter, doing his thing. That was awesome. Peter, he dropped the ball under the stage. So now we got underneath. He was trying to create a crack on the stage where the cameras are with the stage that we're standing on.
Now he's under the stage.
Peter is a dog. I mean, in every single sense of the word there, but the Lions look great. Things go their way. And then on the flip side, the Dallas Cowboys, CD might go for 1,000 yards in one game. He gets concussed off the ground. George Pickens looks a lot like what Pittsburgh Steelers George Pickens looked like, and the Lions get a dominant win. Are the Cowboys fugazi? Are the Lions all the way back? Foxy is a Lions fan. What are your thoughts on the game last night?
All day yesterday, I woke up and I had a little pep in my step because this was a playoff game. Cowboys versus Lions. All the analytics said whoever loses this game, you're out, and whoever wins, you got a chance still. And the Lions, they honestly, the big-time players for the Lions made big-time plays when we needed. Goff was absolutely perfect. St. Brown was money. Gibbs all over the place. J-Mo all over the place. Jack Campbell on defense is an absolute monster. And then on the flip side, like you guys mentioned, like George Pickens just didn't make the plays. Their big-time players didn't make the plays. And that's what this game came down to. And I just love that we still have a chance. It's a long chance, but the Lions are looking good, and the offense is going to have to take over for this team.
Well, I was Foxy, I was thinking about you during the game and being in Detroit, and I was with you. The analytics showed that this was going to be a must-win. I mean, there's still, I guess, mathematically you're still in it, but but this was a must-win. Don't forget, this was 27-9. I think you got to give Dallas a lot of credit for they got it to a 7-point game. And how about Tom Kennedy? Huge return. I think people maybe forget about that late in that game. He had a huge return almost to midfield to set Goff up. And Dan Campbell, when conventional wisdom says, hey, let's run the ball, let's work the clock, he goes play action on second down and hits St. Brown, who, by the way, once again, just shows you the dog that he is, the alpha that he is by playing through the ankle pain. He's got 10 days now to recover to get ready for their next matchup next Sunday night against the Chargers. But Goff played well. I think leaving that game, I think it's really about the Detroit defense. They as Foxy, I'm sure, has talked about, they were just not able to affect the quarterback, as Jordan Love last week, really the last 4 or 5 games, and they looked like a totally different team. They played with desperation. They played with an attitude, and when they needed to make the plays right there, Jack Campbell, the Iowa Hawkeye, making plays all night. They made the plays they had to do. Give them all the credit. Great atmosphere. I love doing games in that stadium, and that not just the team, but the fans sensed this is a must-win, and I think they were a big factor in the game as well. Some bad officiating, too.
Yeah, a lot of bad officiating, officiating all across the board.
Congrats.
And we can't have that be down the stretch. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Very kind of you to send me the text that you sent me, too, just thinking in the middle of your world and thinking about me is very cool. Same with everybody else. Let's wrap up the conversation about this game, but Ty Schmidt over at the talk table and at Boston Connor, Brandon Aubrey's the greatest kicker of all time. This guy's unbelievable. They're calling him Butter. And then on that note, are the Lions all the way back in the NFC North, Ty? Is that kind of how you view what happened last night after watching Aubrey do something absolutely historic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's tough to say they're all the way back because I think we were kind of, like talking about their demise, like they were dead when they weren't. But they're in a position now. Now it's kind of all eyes on, they don't have their destiny in their own hands. They got to rely a lot on either the Packers or the Bears to go on a major schneid here. But I think we saw last night, like when their offense is clicking, they can beat anybody in the NFL. It's just, do they want to get into these track meets, these shootouts, because we know their defense, they had a couple, opportune moments last night where they forced a turnover, and, that obviously goes a long way. But Jahmyr Gibbs, it's kind of, at this point, obviously getting Amon-Ra St. Brown back was massive, but when this guy is going and they can get him 20 to 25 to 30 touches a game, I think, you're hard-pressed to find a better offense in the NFL. So, obviously, we'll see what they can do down the stretch. But, boy, I mean, all eyes now go to Sunday at Lambeau between the Bears and the Packers. And then that's kind of whoever loses that one, that's who the Lions are going to be looking at and, maybe trying to nip on their heels a little bit.
And Ty, I think we got to give Dan Campbell. I know we all get excited about just who he is as a coach and his quotes and his man. Like all that stuff is awesome. Guy's calling the plays.
Yeah.
Second time in his career, and you lose Ben Johnson. They go with John Morton. Doesn't work out. They make the switch about 4 or 5 games ago, and I thought he called a masterful game last week. Having Goff there in his 5th year in Detroit, 4th year in the system obviously helps, but without Laporta, bringing Skipper in, they come up with just different wrinkles, and just can't say enough about them. They played like they needed to win, and they did.
Amon-Ra, questionable, goes crazy.
Unreal.
Montgomery, not really a topic of the conversation because Jahmyr Gibbs, he goes crazy. Jahmyr Gibbs, he goes crazy. It's like Dan Campbell was in his bag. He was in his bag. Now, let's talk about being in a bag. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the incredible opportunity and honor to be a part of a massive day for a future GOAT in my eyes. Now, I've had a chance to understand who this man is for a long time, because obviously he is the son of not only West Virginia legend, but football legend Chris Henry. I've had a chance to meet his family. His mom got oos in the family. She is spectacular. And this kid, not only is he 6'6", 6'7", 200 and whatever pounds, he's physical, he's tough, and he loves ball. Some of us might have been trying to tell Pac-Man Jones to tell him, hey, he's been able to dunk from the foul line since like freshman year of high school. Let's put him in there. Instead, all he wants to be is a football dog. Ladies and gentlemen, to make his official commitment on where he will be continuing his football career, please welcome, and we're lucky to say this, Chris Henry Jr.
Yes!
Chris, how you doing, buddy? We appreciate you joining us, man. Aloha. Aloha over there.
Aloha.
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 Hey, all right, oops. All right, family. Chris, whenever I got a chance to kind of learn about your story, your family's story, the only thing that's really come through is just that you're a workhorse, a good person, humble, but an absolute dog on the football field. We know that you had been committed to Ohio State for a long time, and then obviously Brian Hartline accepting a job at USF. You've had the opportunity, I think everybody has understood it, to kind of just reweigh all your options. First of all, if you'd like to chit-chat about your entire recruitment process, and if you would like to let us know where you're playing, you kind of do whatever the hell you want to do right now, Luce. Your world. Congrats on all of it.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I just want to, thank God for just putting me in this position right now to, be able to make this decision. And, I want to thank all my family for just being here to support me throughout this, time. And, ultimately, I've been committed to the Buckeyes for, a long time. And, with Coach Hartline leaving, it really impacted my recruitment heavily. And, I really just had to take time to step back and really reevaluate everything. But, just, sit with my family and taking time to think about it. Ultimately, I'll be committed and staying committed to the Ohio State University. I just feel like they're the right fit for me. And, I made my decision, a couple of years ago, and it was for the right choice. And, it was my time, just taking time to think about it and just, step back. Even though Hartline did leave, Ohio State is, always been in my heart since I committed. So, I'll be staying home at the Ohio State University.
Congratulations.
Congrats to you and your family.
Yeah, and we know it's not. Okay, ooze. Okay, ooze. Ohio got the jersey on.
That's great.
Okay. Obviously, a large portion of your life, you grew up in the state of Ohio. Then you go over to Mater Dei. How excited it seems everybody is to head back over to the state of Ohio. I can't wait to watch you over there. Congrats on this decision, and tell everybody we say what's up and congrats over there. Will you please?
Appreciate it.
Man, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
please,
Chris,
Kirk.
it's Kirk. I just want to congratulate you. I know this was not an easy decision for you. When Brian Hartline left, and there are a lot of people who are probably recruiting against Ohio State that are thinking now, hey, they lost Brian Hartline. They're not going to be able to recruit the same receivers as they've done in the past without him. What's your message to that, and why Ryan Day and Ohio State? Why is it the right spot for you when you think about your development and growth of these next 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, for me, it was just really being at a place where I feel comfortable at. It was never really about the money. I was getting, tons of offers, like other places, like double the times Ohio. But, ultimately, it was just a place where I feel comfortable at, being developed and, ultimately, reaching my goals, which is to be a first-round draft pick. So, that's what it was for me.
And you got a great quarterback, obviously, to work with. We're seeing Julian Saban and what he's doing throughout his development as a young guy, and maybe make him a run this year to another championship. So just want to say congratulations to you and your family, man. That's a big decision, and I know weight off your back.
Hell yeah, congratulations to you and your family and to everybody over there and to OH World, Ohio State. And on that note, a man who is a Ohio State Hall of Famer, A.J. Hawk, would like to say some words and maybe even ask a question to the newest, greatest of all time wide receiver room that the Ohio State Buckeyes have pieced together. Go ahead, AJ.
Absolutely, Chris. I played Ohio State a long time ago, actually with Brian Hartline. I was a couple years older than him, but I wanted to say welcome to the family. It's an awesome situation there. I think everyone there obviously already loves you, and they're going to love you even more once you're on campus full time. Welcome to your family. as well. But I guess what ultimately led you to this decision, obviously choosing and staying with Ohio State?
No, it's Jay. I just All
right, hey, we love you, Chris.
Thank you. Congrats. Good job. Good decision. Great decision.
We love you.
There we go.
Congrats to your Buckeyes.
That was big. I didn't really follow, since Brian Hartline left. I didn't really know if he was going to go to who else was in play there? Oregon?
USC, Oregon, West Virginia, obviously. You know that.
That's a fact.
I love that. I love that.
Don't you do what you just did.
What, you don't think that's real, Kirk? You don't think they're in the running, Kirk?
I don't like what he just did right there. West Virginia was in the running, and that is because of who his dad is, right?
Yeah.
His dad, legend of West Virginia. So him and Pac-Man, obviously, best friends.
Number 15.
At West Virginia, yes. And then Pac on the other side. I mean, they were menaces, obviously, on the football field. Maybe the most talent we've ever had on a football team.
And that's what West Virginia is going back to.
Yeah, we're trying to. We're trying to, at least, yeah.
Edge.
So there's a chance, like Chris Henry Jr. wants to come back, to West Virginia. But I think everybody that knows his family understands what the business opportunities were here because of who he is.
Yeah.
They were floating some numbers out there on what was being offered to Chris Henry Jr. from some of these schools. And it's like he's got the work ethic, he's got the lineage, he's got the drive, he's got the mentality, and he obviously has the physical traits. His catch radius is like 7 foot something.
Chase played him when he was a sophomore, and he was still in Cincinnati, and he was a sophomore. And you could already see this guy is just kind of scratching the surface of where he's going to go. And then he ends up going out to Mater Dei and in Southern California and Orange County. And obviously just continued to get better and better. Not just big. You can see the speed that he has to be able to pull away. And then you're going into a system that, this is going to be the new thing with Ohio State losing Brian Hartline. This is a big message, I feel like, for Ryan Day, to his staff, for what they've been able to do. When you land Chris Henry Jr. like this, I think it sends a very loud message to future receivers and future recruits that Ohio State's going to continue, because that room has gotten different under Brian Hartline's guidance. And it looks like with this, it's going to continue, even though he's off to Tampa at USF.
AJ, such a fascinating thing there, because to Herbie's point about the statement being made, like, I think everybody understood whenever Chris Henry Jr. was like, well, if Hartline's not there, literally that is the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
So I think even people in Ohio, you would know more than me. I'm just kind of checking the temperature on the internet. I think everybody was like, well, he is. I mean, this guy's the guy. So if he wants to kind of reevaluate everything, I think everybody was kind of cool with it. I know there were some other schools that thought they really had a shot. Like, they were very excited, but they had no idea. So whenever I get the text message this morning, because I guess it was floating around last night that he was going to want to come on today's show or whatever, I had not heard that. Okay, so like I had people asking me, and I'm the person that books the show alongside a couple of, so I had not heard anybody reach out to me about Chris Henry Jr. coming on. Now, does Chris Henry Jr. know that he is a green light to come on this show whenever the hell he wants? Yes. Okay, because obviously I've known him for a long time, and the West Virginia family, it just feels like that is the right thing to do, and especially with how much respect I have for this dude. He is a workhorse, and not only does he have the size and everything, he is a workhorse. So I would have green-lighted any time, but I had no conversation with anybody last night about him coming on. This morning I get a text message, hey, would it be cool if Chris comes on and announces where he wants to go today? Yes. So then I tweet out that, hey, he is coming on. So I get some questions from some people at different places that, have some wonderings. And I don't think anybody knew. I don't think anybody. I think people were
I'm getting texts too,
right there.
Pat, I'm getting plenty of texts too. People not sure exactly what's going to happen. So that was I mean, the family obviously they were prepared.
AJ, I think a lot of Ohio State fans. I think that the noise on the internet made everybody just assume now he's going to announce on Pat's show. He's probably going to go to Oregon, or he's going to go maybe to the highest bidder. But, man, how about his comments about this wasn't about money? This is about how I feel and I fit at Ohio State. And even though Brian Hartline's not going to be there, I still feel strongly about that. I think that says a lot about Ryan Day. And like I said, I think this isn't just about Chris Henry, AJ. I think this is about a message being sent to other receivers and other recruits down the line about what that room can still be, despite not having Hartline there. That was obviously such a big part of it.
Yeah,
Conman, we saw that. Conman, I'm sorry, AJ, and anything you want to say about an Ohio State Buckeye, you should definitely say it. So I apologize for stepping on you. But Conman, what I said in the intro there was very real. we know Pac very well, and we know Pac-Man took on the onus of basically raising family whenever Slim passes away. So we've seen this kind of for a long time now. This dude, they thought he was going to grow too much to be able to not be able to play football anymore. They were like, he's going to be forced into playing basketball. If he gets a 6'8", like he's going to have to go play
he's
basketball.
Legit 6'5",
6'6", 6'7".
So he's like Plax Burress.
Yes,
Yeah.
And he's dog. Like he views himself as a dog. Like basketball, guaranteed money. You got to have the right size. He's going to have it. You got to be able to be athletic. He has it. Got to be able to shoot. He was able to do it. I feel like kind of a rude person, but I was telling Pac and telling him anytime I was talking to him, like, bro, we need to work on that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get that. You're going to be 6'7", bro. No, like, go ahead and do that. Instead, dude loves ball, Connor. Absolutely loves ball and chooses to go Big Ten football into cold. Not that Oregon or USC would be anything different. It is Big Ten football. West Virginia, Big 12 football. He didn't want any pieces of that. I can tell you that. But I think this is a big statement also about who Chris Henry Jr. is as a whole. I'm a big fan of this dude, and I'm very happy for him today.
Yeah, very, very cool. And also just watching those highlights, like you said, he's 6'7". You're really not sure how fast he is. Seeing him pull away is asinine. I can't believe that's a real thing. And then you just think about what they're going to be next year. You know, all those other schools are great. The best player across the board, everyone has said, in college football, himself is Jeremiah Smith. So now he's going to be on the other side as Jeremiah Smith. He's got probably the runner-up to Mendoza this year in the Heisman voting with Julian Saban throwing him the ball. Like, when you're thinking about the setup, it's incredible. And also, you know, where he's from. He did grow up in Ohio. I know he finished his high school football in Mater Dei in California, but what Herbie just said, you know, sophomore year of high school, that's not so far away, and that's where he was. He was in Ohio. A large contingent of his family's in Ohio. And when you talk about competing for national championships, yes, all those other schools are in it, kind of. None of them are in it like Ohio State every single year. Ohio State consistently will be in either the Big Ten championship, and if not, they'll be in the playoff. And if they're in the playoff, they're going to make a run. Like, I can't wait for this weekend, you know, just to see the entire game. But seeing Chris Henry Jr. with Jeremiah Smith next year and Julian Saban will be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on that note, let's talk about big news in the Big Ten as Peter just took out an entire sweet section over here to our left. Camera's right. Penn State, Ty, there's a lot of people claiming around the internet that they called this and they said this. But yes, literally yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, Ty, you go, what Penn State's going to end up doing is they're going to hire Matt Campbell. And there's going to be
Ty said that?
Ty said that, but I think a lot of people have said it. So I don't want to Ty doesn't want to grandstand as if he's the only human that has said it, because in this world we know that other people have said it. But Ty, you did kind of get to a point where it was like, Matt Campbell feels like a winner. He feels like a winning hire for Penn State. Ty, is that not kind of your thought about it all?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, you know, just assume that I was saying that because I'm an Iowa guy, and it's like, oh, hey, I want Iowa State. You know, he's such a good coach, get him out of there. And while he is a great coach, I think it gets to a point now where you look at everyone else that's available or who they've went after and who said no and who's signed extensions elsewhere. This isn't a shot at Iowa State. I think Matt Campbell would maybe, you know, when he's by himself, admit, like, I think he's taken Iowa State to the zenith of, like, what they can be. Yeah. He's already made that, you know, that they are more successful now than they have been in the last 100 years. He's an unbelievable coach, and I'd be very interested to see what he could do going to a place like Penn State where he has unbelievable resources and the ability to build a roster that he just simply is not going to be able to build at Iowa State. Now, part of it, you know, if he stays in Ames, he is already their most successful coach of all time. He's a god there. They'll build a statue, but at a certain point, it's like, hey, I know how good of a coach I am. I think I've kind of taken this program to new heights. A new challenge might be on the horizon, and you know, obviously he's super competitive. He probably feels like he could be the guy to go into Penn State and turn this thing around and get them going back to where they want to be.
Ty, I was under the assumption that he was almost untouchable at this point. And I know Penn State can pay whatever that is they need to pay if this ends up happening, but I kind of thought, you know, maybe 5 years ago when he built Iowa State up, I thought that maybe somebody's going to come in and swoop him up. But I thought Iowa State's done a pretty good job of making it pretty clear, hey, the buyout is ridiculous. No one can come in here and he's our guy. So if this happens, that would be a major effort by Penn State to make this happen.
Well, that goes to the next point. AJ, obviously we've been covering the Penn State coaching hiring story. They were the first coach to be let go, first job that was kind of opened up or whatever, and then still the last job to have a hired coach. Signing day has come and went. Chris Henry has committed to a place, rethought, and then recommitted to a place, none of them being Penn State. Also, a lot of places saying, why would you ever go to Penn State? They don't even have a coach. So they've missed quite an important period here in this entirety. But it feels like they've taken a swing on a lot of different coaches. And then now we got leaked audio coming out from there. It's like all hell has broken loose in this entire Penn State coaching cycle. Matt Campbell, I think, just like I think Dayball would be able to get a positive pop from the donors that you would have to get.
Oh, yeah.
I think Matt Campbell could be a positive pop. And also his recruits, right, could hop in the transfer portal before they even go there. We saw it with Songapolatelli.
But such a different type of recruit.
They don't have any recruits.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a few from, but obviously he's going to go from in this have and have not world. He's done so much at Ames, Iowa, where he's had to kind of like develop, get this guy he's a tight end. We're going to turn him into a tackle, just like Iowa does. And now you're going to Penn State, where here's our NIL. Very competitive. Our goal is Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. We're shooting for the stars. So he goes from being like, we're going to be tougher than them, we're going to be gritty, and now he's going to have ridiculous talent. I'm with Ty. It's going to be fun to see. Again, I don't know if he's going to take
What
it.
other options, though, Kurt?
There.
Sorry, what other options do they have other than Dayball and like who else are they looking at, you think?
I have no idea.
Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah, Kurt, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, there are. Well, you be my defensive coordinator. Let's go do it.
Okay, I'm in. Yeah, you get the gig. I'm in. Oh, yeah, I got to do it from Ohio, though. I'm not leaving. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a Zoom.
I'm gonna have to zoom in. Yeah, the boys got to really pay attention close. But yeah.
COVID.
Well, he's got his young family there.
Yeah,
he can't leave them.
Yeah, but all those his kids could easily become Penn State people and not be Ohio State.
There's nothing
people.
easy about that.
No chance.
What do you mean?
I have a lot of respect for them, but no, we're not flipping. We know who we are. You see the double. I got double gear on today.
Yeah, he had to, big time. Is that Roosters? Is that a Rooster?
Yeah, it's Roosters Ohio State situation. You know it.
I love Roosters, man.
Who doesn't love Roosters?
Roosters have been very good to us. I would like to say that. Roosters has been very good to us, so we are very, very grateful for Roosters. And if you're ever in the Ohio area or anywhere else those Rooster franchises are, why don't you stop by and try their meat? They got delightful fried chicken, and they got delightful sauces there at Roosters. Now, on that note, people are going to be eating them with sorrow after the Indiana Hoosiers beat that ass. Come on. I can't wait for that game. I'm excited for it. That building should be absolutely insane. Let's talk about some NFL news. Obviously, not only championship weekend here for college football, which is going to be electrifying. We have a huge Week 14 NFL slate that already started last night with the Lions beating the Dallas Cowboys. Justin Herbert taking snaps. It's a big deal. Yeah. Guy got surgery on Monday, has a game on Monday night, had a fracture in his left hand. He was seen taking snaps in practice. Herbstreit, we love everything that Herbert is about, but also I think with a Harbaugh coach team, you're going to have to be tough, and I think Herbert enjoys the opportunity to showcase that he is a dog in yet another situation.
Yeah, he is a tough guy, and I think that's a big part of his game, and I think that's why his teammates respect him so much and start to look at the standings in not just the division, but in the wild card. Chargers have some really big-time opponents coming up, and they need him healthy to have any chance, obviously. So if you're a Chargers fan, huge news that he's going to be able to try to gut it out. And, again, look at that plate, few screws put into his hand, whatever. Let's go play football. I mean, that's a different breed.
AJ, that goes back to the story that we heard from whenever we did game day all the way in Eugene 2 years ago when Herbert's dad was there. And I asked Herbert's dad about why he can punt so good, because Herbert can punt really well. Like if he wanted to, I think if he was to focus full time for like a year or so, I think he'd be able to become an NFL punter. Wow. Justin Herbert, with how athletic he is and he's known the form. And then also he kicks field goals so good. Like his field goal kicking is just like outrageous. Every training camp they show it. And I asked his dad about it. That was like my first question. And he was like, they love ball. We used to have to tape uprights in our living room on the wall and move all the furniture out. All they wanted to do was play football all the time. Like, he is a ball lover. Harbaugh once ball lovers on the squad. Are they able to go, AJ, that Chargers team? There's always like so much hope in my mind. There's always
And how about the game, AJ, that they have this week against a Eagles team, kind of like the Lions last night? You talk about desperate football team with everything going on after the loss last week to the Bears. AJ, that's going to be not just big, that's big for both teams, obviously.
Yes, I would say. But the Chargers, there's always like hope that they can be great.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like we all think that, AJ.
It's just like knocking on
Is
the
it
door.
going back, though?
Always.
Are you going back to the Phil Rivers era when they were like, getting to the AFC Championship? Like they were just good enough to not make the Super Bowl, it feels like. I feel like they're over that hump. Now, this is a huge test, though. Like Kirk said, Philly. If you can beat Philly on Monday, I think it's like we said, litmus test situation like we talked about earlier.
It's also not their only huge test. Kirk mentioned it, we've talked about the Colts' upcoming schedule, but the Chargers have obviously the Eagles, and then they're at KC, at Dallas, which is really, really hard to play at, against the Texans, and then at the Broncos. Like, they're 8-4 right now.
One of those games is a lock. I mean,
no,
is
none
grind,
of them.
Every one of those games.
Okay, and let's go to the other side. You talk about desperate football teams. Coach Tirianni, Philadelphia Eagles. Are you guys okay over there? It feels like there's a lot of drama. Have people lost hope in your squad, Coach?
We don't concern ourselves with the opinions of people outside the building. We actually did a fun team exercise just the other day. We kind of got everybody on the same page. I don't know if you saw in the media, unfortunately, Coach Patullo did get his house egged quite a bit, and he was sitting in his foyer like Herman Boone when that person threw the brick, through, and he had the shotgun ready when Coach Dahn was there as well. We sat Kevin Patullo down at the 50-yard line in the indoor facility, and we threw eggs at him for about an hour and a half. We really didn't even practice much. But I just say, hey, listen, I know you guys are frustrated. I know you guys can't really stand. I can't publicly say this guy sucks at his job, so we're going to get everything out in the open. We're going to egg him. Afterwards, we'll probably beat the shit out of him a little bit. We'll put some batteries in some socks and smack him around a little bit. And then guess what?
Okay.
Guess what? We go in the locker room and everything's peaceful. Everybody's dapping up. Everybody's hugging. Everybody appears as if they are hungry dogs. So I would say, look out for the Philadelphia Eagles. We handle business in-house, and I think business has been handled. Now, obviously, if we lose on Monday night in LA, things are going to get pretty loud. And I'm going to have to come up with some new, Sirianniism to kind of get through to the guys. But, they said on Hard Knocks, hey, Coach, you hear the sky's falling? I say, yeah, sky's falling every day. So what difference does that make? We're still, in the playoffs right now. And don't let the dogs get into the dance. Don't let the hungry dogs get into the dance, baby. That's why I've been preaching to the team. So we'll see. And obviously, it'd be nice if Saquon Barkley could run for more than 40 yards this weekend. That would be massive.
Sounds like that's on you, Coach. Maybe you and Patullo.
I'm not calling the plays. I'm not calling the plays, Pat. You got to remember, I'm not calling the plays. So it's kind of not
even like recommendations or anything, or not even.
Yeah, so last week, I think I want to say I recommended the two plays when A.J. Brown scored both his touchdowns. Outside that, I kind of just said, hey, Kevin, you do your thing. So,
it sounds like you're throwing people under the bus.
No.
That's what it sounds like you're doing. Yeah, it sounds like you're throwing your coach under the bus right there.
Well, he's getting paid very well, Pat. He's getting paid very well. And I don't know. I mean, then that just creates another big thing. If I do the Dan Campbell thing and I start calling the plays this week and we win 42-0, does that make things any better? I don't know if it does. Now they're going to be saying I'm a dipshit because I wasn't calling the plays all year. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. It's meaningful football time. You've been saying it for weeks now. So we need the hungry dogs to show up. And it's bring your own kibble season. Okay, no one's bringing it for you.
All right. Everybody's trying to take your guys' kibbles with pot shots. You talk about a no-win situation. Let's talk about the Patriots. So they got Kraft up for the Hall of Fame and Bill Belichick up for the Hall of Fame. There's a chance they both go in at the same time. Con Man, your thoughts on the potential outcomes here with these two going into a football eternity, if you will?
Yeah, I think the only outcomes they both go in. Now, the possible outcomes is knuckle sandwiches, I'd say. I worry about them standing next to each other. I don't think there will be any outward scene animosity, but I do worry, behind the scenes, is Bill kind of, cup checking Bob Kraft? Is Bob Kraft kind of sending it right back? Couple credit cards, couple scoops. I don't know, but I do think it will be cool for them both to get their flowers. Bill released his statement. I'm sure everybody who read it definitely believed it. I can say I kind of did, but they are happy for each other, allegedly, but I do think They both will end up in there. They both will have a very cool kind of look back at all they did. I personally hope that there's an apology from Robert Kraft with everything that happens in that documentary, and there is a Bill Belichick, hey, you know what? Your scouts can't come down here, even though they probably won't take any players, but they can come down here and at least look at people. See, I'm getting emotional even thinking about it, just because it will be kind of a nice little reunion of both of them on that stage.
Yeah, they've been on a stage before, at the Tom Brady roast. They were they were in a similar area. Nobody was allowed to talk about anything. If the Hall of Fame lets the bygones be bygones, that'll be great news. Yeah. Speaking of bygones being bygones, it seems like we're in the time of year for the college football world where people hold on to grudges forever. Because there's big decisions that are going to be made. You start at 12, you count down to 1. That's how you crown a CFP national champion.
Has that been back out?
But we've been pushing
new bars.
We've been pushing
Okay.
it. ESPN, who made it, has not been pushing it nearly as much as we've been pushing it. And I don't know if they think we like it or we hate it. It's both, and it's catchy. But on that note, who's getting into those tournaments? Who are going to be a part of the 12? Well, there's a couple teams that have been lobbying. Feels like there's been a couple teams that have been talking. Let's go to Gumpy real quick. Gumpy is a diehard University of Miami fan. Gumsh, the Miami Hurricanes fans have been very loud and I'd say aggressive with the conversation about whether or not they warrant one of the 12 spots.
Yeah, it just goes back to the head-to-head for Miami fans. I think Notre Dame's a great football team. I wish Notre Dame and Miami could get in.
Yeah,
I get it.
I agree.
But the whole time we've been told if it gets to this cluster where they're together, head-to-head matters. And that's all any Miami fans going off of.
Okay, so Tone, one half of the Hammer Dahn Cowboys. The situation is basically there's one spot, 3 teams.
Yep.
BYU could be one of the teams depending upon the outcome of the Big 12 championship in which they play Texas Tech, who already has their spot solidified. And then it comes down to Notre Dame and Miami basically getting one spot out of those 3. Tone, what is the conversation in the narrative? It has been publicly seemingly Notre Dame, Miami, right, is what everybody's been comparing?
Yes, everyone's been comparing Notre Dame and Miami because BYU is in a conference title game and has a chance to win in that. But as I see it, when you look at the bracket here, 1 through 8, I believe are locked for the playoffs based on what they've done in the season. Whether they're playing in a conference championship this weekend or they are off, they have done enough. That is from 1, Ohio State, to number 8, Oklahoma. Then Bama sits at number 9. I don't see a situation where the committee punishes Bama for a loss in the SEC championship against a Georgia team. I don't think they want to set the precedent where if you make the SEC championship game and you can lose and then be out of the tournament. So I think those 9 are in there. Then you'll probably have, if Virginia wins, you'll have the ACC champion, and then you'll have the group of 5 champion probably coming out of the American, which then that's 11 teams. So then you have the 1 spot for Notre Dame, Miami, BYU. Obviously, if BYU loses to Texas Tech, they're going to drop below Miami. So then Miami and Notre Dame are right next to each other. And that's where the committee is going to have to decide and look at all the metrics and the head-to-head. And every other situation that they've done in the rankings, normally the head-to-head is above the other team. So I think it's a tough situation for Notre Dame, but we will see come Sunday night when all the chips are out on the table how they decide.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program. He was once in charge of a network, a television network, a couple of them actually, before he became the man at Notre Dame. Ladies and gentlemen, the athletic director for the Fighting Irish, Pete Bevacqua.
Yeah, Pete!
Hey, guys.
What's
hey,
going
Pat.
on, brother?
Hey, Pat.
Hey, how
great
are
to see you. Kurt. Good. Great to see you, too. Pat, we were listening to your song this morning. It's a great song. We like it.
Hey, Dookie, I appreciate that. You are not Dookie, and I will say that from the very beginning. And I'm going to release some more songs, Pete, and I'm going to call some suits some negative things in these songs. Very clever way to do it. Just know that you're not one of those suits. We like you, Pete. We don't we, boys? I don't want to speak out of line. We like Pete.
We love Pete.
He can spin it.
Oh, yeah.
He can spin it. He was in a suit in the Thunderdome, and he spun a football. I mean, fired pigskin from stage to basketball hoop, and then shot a hoop as well. We appreciate you, Pete. We think you're a great man, and we appreciate your time today.
No, thank you, Pat. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, so let's dive into it. You just heard University of Miami Hurricane fan Gumpy talk about how the conversation is head-to-head matchups. Obviously, Miami says, and Miami did beat you guys first week of the year in the head-to-head matchup. Now you guys are clustered together. What is your kind of takeaway on the entire conversation right now about Notre Dame, and what is like kind of your guys' perspective on why or how it should turn out?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And for, I start, and Kirk, you'll appreciate this more than anybody being an Ohio State grad. Hats off to Ohio State and Indiana to have 2 undefeated seasons like they've had this year in 2025 is such an accomplishment. But I think with the exception of those 2 teams who are undefeated, we're the hottest team in the country. I don't think anybody's playing better than Notre Dame. You think about this 10-game streak of dominance we've had, some of the best football I have ever seen here. And I've been a huge Notre Dame fan literally since the day I was born, Notre Dame grad. I think we're firing on all cylinders, Pat. And, for us, when you hear the committee and you hear Hunter talk, the comparison has always been between Notre Dame and Alabama. I mean, he even said that as recently as Tuesday. We've been clustered with Alabama. Who deserves to be higher, Notre Dame or Alabama? So that's really what we've been focused on. In my opinion, the committee has really spoken about the Notre Dame-Miami issue as I see it. Hey, it was the first game of the season. Miami is a really good team, but quite frankly, as I said to somebody here today, nobody wins the race at the starting line. And I really think right now there's not a team in the country playing better football than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, and you mentioned, obviously, Indiana and Ohio State. I think a lot of people will find out about this Georgia team, how they've been playing. Texas Tech, obviously, been playing great. Those top 4, I think, are in the conversation. But to your point about how you guys have performed since the loss to Miami and to Texas A&M, who's still, obviously, who they are in the entire story of it all, how you guys have played since then has certainly been dominant. It certainly has been. But whenever you start stacking up, like how you're playing now versus how the head-to-head ones, it's going to get ugly, Kirk. I guess that's just kind of every year for college football. Is that kind of what it always revolves around?
Yeah, I mean, it's all, whether it's 4 or 12 or eventually if it goes to 16, whatever it is, there's always going to be debates. But Pat, I just want to say congratulations to what you guys are doing it and how you're doing it. And yeah, to me, if not the best coach in the country, you certainly have one of the best out there as far as the way he goes about his business, the way he carries himself in representing your university. It's been fun to watch him. Of course, he's from Southwest Ohio, Wayne Warrior, and up to Ohio State. But he is just hitting on all cylinders himself as a coach. So congrats on that. I just wanted to ask you, when you're with Greg and Tony and all the conference commissioners, are we ever going to get to a place where we have a system where Notre Dame and Miami aren't sitting here sweating it, trying to, it'd be great they're both in it. Do you ever see us getting to an expansion that everybody can agree on, especially Tony and Greg, to try to make some sense out of the future of college football in the postseason?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kirk. And I have the privilege of being in that room due to my role here at Notre Dame. And I think there's almost unanimity in that room that we should be at 16 teams with 5 automatic qualifiers and 11 at large. And I think if we were at 16 teams right now, I think it would be perfect, right? It would be absolutely perfect. These conversations are great. They're interesting. But you think about a Notre Dame team, again, I'm biased, right? But I think we have absolutely the best player in the country in Jeremiah Love. I haven't seen somebody this electrifying. I go back to Reggie Bush and before that, the Rocket here at Notre Dame. And, but yeah, 16 is the answer. 5 automatics, 11 at large. And I hope we get there sooner than later.
And I think, Pete, fans of the sport, I don't think they want politics on the selection of the teams. They just want to see the bet. Whatever system we use to evaluate, you have the 5, and then the next best 11. Wherever their affiliation is, just let's give us the fans and the players the next best 11, because I think right now we're in a position where it seems like we're trying to make everybody happy.
So what Kirk doesn't want to say here is the group of 5 champion is what he's trying to bring up right now.
No. It's sometimes when Ben Roethlisberger was at Miami of Ohio,
they run a run.
Yeah, but if they're at a certain ranking, put them in. It's nothing against the group of 5. It's more about let's just stack up after the 5 best teams. That's all we want to see.
Also, Kirk, when you think about it, and you think about the conference championships, and hey, that's we know our role. We're an independent. But, even think about the conference championships this year. I mean, you think about Miami. We're talking about Miami. They had 2 tough losses deep into the season. But, Miami should be playing in their conference championship, right, for a chance to win that conference with as talented as a team they are. So I think corrections can be made. But as it relates to the CFP, I think 16 teams is the answer. And I think I don't want to speak on anybody's behalf, but being in that room, I think there's an overwhelming momentum to try to get that done.
And you have an extension, right, to try to come to an agreement by next season? Didn't that get pushed back?
It got pushed back, with your company, ESPN. Will we get there for next year? I'm not sure. I think a lot of people in the room are certainly fighting for that, but hopefully if it's not next year, it'll be the remaining years after that, because to me, that's the right answer, Kirk.
Keep fighting the fight. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, on that note, speaking of fighting fights, what do people say? What would be the contradictory to you saying you want 16 as an independent Notre Dame as opposed to being a conference school? I assume you have to hear a lot of arguments against you guys being independent and an independent potentially taking up a college football playoff spot versus teams that have to play a conference schedule. What do you kind of say about that, and what do they say to you that you think is fair or not fair whenever it comes to you guys being independent?
Well, you think about it, Pat, the regular season is more important for us than anybody because we don't have the opportunity to play in a conference championship. We can't play in the SEC championship or the Big 12 or the Big 10 or the ACC championship. And like you said in the lead into this conversation, there's teams that are playing in these conference championships, particularly in the SEC and the Big 10, that regardless of the outcome, they're both going to get a spot in the CFP. There's comfort in that. And a lot of people talked about last year that magical run we had to the national championship, and they talked about the CFP economics and the money that Notre Dame earns through that. But they didn't talk about the other side of the coin, whereas if we don't make it in, we don't get any money. We kind of we eat what we kill. And so we're kind of out there dangling on our own and trying to schedule the best teams we can. When you look at our future schedules, we have Texas and Alabama, and hoping to get something done here with USC and, an annual series with Clemson. So we feel really bullish about our independence. It's part of the DNA of Notre Dame. And, when you have alignment like we do at this university, when you have a coach like Coach Freeman, and I joke with people, like if we went into a laboratory and had to create the perfect coach for Notre Dame, you'd walk out with Marcus Freeman. And he's not just our football coach. He has become such a part of the fabric of this university. You go to a women's basketball game, a hockey game, you walk around campus, you see Marcus with his wife, Joanna, you see him with his kids. We're blessed to have him here at Notre Dame, and he's a big part why we can stay independent, because you got to be relevant when you're independent. If you're not winning, you become irrelevant in a second, and we got to keep winning, and we got to keep these seasons going like they have here the last few years.
Yeah, nobody talks about UConn being independent, until their coach goes to Colorado State. AJ has a last question for you here, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, sure. You mentioned some of those big games you guys have on the schedule, when you look into the future. How do you balance that, especially with Marcus Freeman on, we want to have these big games and play in these giant primetime games against top 10 teams, but also, it doesn't ultimately, you lose one or two of those, it doesn't help you when it comes to the CFP. How do you balance that with Marcus?
We don't make a scheduling decision without talking to Marcus and bringing him into the conversation. And, Marcus is wired in a way where he's not looking for the easy way out. He's like, come one, come all, let's prove it on the field. He's wired that way. It makes the team wired that way. And, AJ, one of the blessings we have here at Notre Dame is, when we go on the road, think about that Pitt game this year, right? We went on the road to Pitt. The place was sold out. Game day was there. I bumped into Pat there. They retired Aaron Donald's jersey. I mean, that was like a Super Bowl for the University of Pittsburgh. So every game we play in, we're fortunate. And that's not because of me. It's because of 100-year-plus-year history at Notre Dame. So we're used to big games, and, we want to play the best teams in the country each and every year.
Hey, Pete, I just want to ask you one last question, just to leave this. For Notre Dame fans watching this weekend's games, what are you watching? What are you personally watching based on knowing the committee and how they've ranked these teams? I'm a little nervous for Notre Dame with the move of Miami. If BYU were to maybe get beat again by Texas Tech, you wonder if they would go underneath Miami, and then Miami and Notre Dame are side by side, could the head-to-head then give Miami the nod? What are you watching? What are you most concerned about? What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I would say, Kirk, again, I come back to Alabama. Certainly we're interested in watching the Georgia-Alabama game. 2 great games, SEC, great conference. I think everybody in the Notre Dame Nation is a Texas Tech fan this week. I have great admiration for Texas Tech and BYU, but no secret, we want Texas Tech to win that game. And then, we've been 9th. We think we should still be 9th, quite frankly. We've made that known to the committee. But, we got to watch these games with great interest for sure. And I just think, we went from 9 to 10 having not snapped the football. I don't see any way where we can drop 2 spots and Miami can go up 2 spots. Neither of us have played a game over the course of these 2 weeks. The committee has always had us ahead of them. The committee has admitted that it's always been a conversation, a fierce conversation, if you listen to Hunter, between who deserves to be ahead of each other, Notre Dame, Alabama. Our feeling, our hope is if Texas Tech can beat BYU, we're in. Question is, are we going to be 10th or 9th? That's what we're going with. And again, I come back to the fact, hats off to Indiana and Ohio State, amazing seasons. Other than that, I would go toe-to-toe with anybody in saying that we are the hottest team in the country right now.
And that's the athletic director for Notre Dame right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the athletic director for Notre Dame, legend, Pete Bevacqua. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck this weekend.
Good luck, Pete. Yeah, good luck watching the games. Good luck watching the games. So he was, he and I were, we negotiated. He was representing Peacock, NBC. He once was the president of the Golf Channel, I think, at one point, and then he moved into being the head of NBC Sports, I think, and then now he's the AD for Notre Dame.
Doing a great job.
He's a good suit. He's a good suit. Right, boys? We don't hate it. We don't think he's a bad
great
suit.
No, not at all.
Good suit.
He's a good suit.
He's
So
good.
there are good suits?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
For
yeah.
you guys?
You know him. There's only a few.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nick
I
Dahn.
just didn't know.
No, there's more. There's more than a few. I mean, Fawcett's a suit, technically.
He's Foss.
I've never seen him wear one.
Just injured a
SVP.
lot.
He's an SVP.
Yeah.
He's in
He is injured a
sweatpants
lot.
all the time.
He is injured a lot. This guy's got an ankle brace on right now. Hey, what's he doing? Living a life? I don't know. I have no idea what happened.
That's soccer.
He's in sweats a lot.
He's a suit, though. Yeah, he's trying
still
to be
a
the
suit?
next generation of suit. You know?
Okay.
He has an ankle brace on right now. I saw it in the
Toughing it out. He's him and St. Brown.
Yeah, he is St. Amon Ross St. Foss right here. I mean, that is a wonderful thing. I appreciate him joining us, but he's always been good. Like, that's why he's the athletic director, and he loves Notre Dame. And I appreciate the fact that he's like, Miami's a good team. It's not about us in Miami. What are we even talking about? Well, everybody's saying it's about you in Miami. Yeah. Bama. We're talking about Bama.
Yeah. I feel like they should both be in, like Notre Dame and Miami.
Big news coming out of the Big Ten. Matt Campbell and Penn State are working toward a deal for him to be the next head coach. There's multiple steps needed to finalize. Pete Bevacqua says there's a lot of shit to get figured out here, but including agreeing to terms and formal approval of compensation. So they have. Okay, so Campbell and Penn State are going to get a deal done, is what they're saying. Have you agreed to terms? Absolutely not. Do you know how long it's going to be? Nope. Do you know what type of setup it's going to have? Absolutely not. But we're going to do this. Yes, we're going to do this. Congrats to Penn State. And congrats.
Hope that happens.
It's a good hire.
Nothing against Iowa State, but
it's a good hire.
I'd love to see Matt Campbell at State College.
The only hire that I think would have been great. I think it's a great hire for Penn State at this stage of the game. Legitimately.
If they close the deal on that would be as good a hire in this very volatile coaching carousel. That would be as good a hire that I think's been made.
I wish I was a microphone in a room with Pat Kraft if he gets his deal done. On that note, we appreciate the hell out of you, Herbie.
Brother.
We'll be back on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. Listen to Dookie.
See you, boys.
On the way here in Eugene, smoking on some new green, changing up routine, gratitude, truly. I'm all the way in Eugene, smoking on some new green, changing up the routine, gratitude, truly. Feel like new school, G, life's pretty cool, G. 3 jobs, few beans, tank top, blue jeans. So this is insane. I'm the 5th guy ever to ride this motorcycle. It's a 1996 Fat Boy. They've been doing it since 1999. It's called the Leader of the Quack. You can call me the Leader of the Quack right now. Quack, quack, quack.
Guy currently, his name is Matt. He's a dog. He's wearing a different jacket today, and he told me to wear the one he's wearing. This is a Grateful Dead one, so I'm gonna wear this one. Leader of the Quack coming in 3, 2, and Flip shots, view screens, movie star, 2 scenes, bank account, juicy, cancel you me, boogeyman, spooky, folks watch, Lucy's hating folks, dookie, yeah, you waiting for. Yeah, you waiting for, dookie, yeah, you waiting for, dookie. Yeah, I'm up here in Eugene, smoking on some new green, checking out some new scenes. And you hating folks.
Were you the one that I beat the hell out of tic-tac-toe and Rochambeau?
I just beat him at tic-tac-toe. Hook, line, and sinker. You're the worst tic-tac-toe player of all time. Yeah, get out.
Undefeated. Completely different. You guys came down to the thing. Boom!
Go! 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 Go!
Make me wanna put my hands up and hang my heels up and smoke some trees. Give me the Oregon Ducks to get a huge win today. A little bit softer now, 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 a little bit louder now, a little bit louder.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey. Why? Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. You pink! Stunner! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Welcome in hour 2 of the Pat McAfee Show. I am AJ Hawk sitting in for Pat here in Indianapolis. He's in Atlanta, big SEC championship game tomorrow. Boys, we had a big first hour. Football! It's what happened last night, right, Pat? What's happening all weekend? We got a beautiful slate of games, obviously college and NFL coming up. Thanks to Kirk and Peter, right, for joining us that first hour.
Yeah, Kirk and Peter, obviously Peter's always got the juice, and the Dogs are going to try to win a big one here tomorrow against Alabama. A championship weekend will be spectacular for college ball. Game day, 9 a.m. tomorrow on ESPN and live on X throughout the entirety of this entire college football playoff. Should be quite a scene and a vibe as we're down here in Atlanta, live from the Convention Center, the SEC Fan Fest. At the beginning of the show, not normally that packed, and then as the show continues, it kind of fills up with a bunch of SEC faithful there to celebrate this championship game, which obviously 2 legends will be competing in. And then across the slate up there in Indianapolis, Indiana is going to be the big one. 1 versus 2. Indiana Hoosiers looking to do something that they've never done before. And then the Ohio State Buckeyes looking to maintain their dominance as they're the reigning national champions, favorites to win the national championship yet again. And nobody really speaks about them because all they've done is kick everybody's ass. Will they be able to do that to Fernando Mendoza in an Indiana Hoosiers offense that can spin it and a defense that's great? We shall see. 8 p.m. Boots on the ground there at Lucas Oil. Let's go to the Toxic Table at Boston Connor. I see you wearing that Mendoza shirt, brother. You feel good about the weekend for the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I feel fantastic. Look, Ohio State circles two things on their calendar, and they have two goals every single year. It's beating beating Michigan and winning the national championship. They don't care about the Big Ten championship. Let's be real here. Okay, they already earned a bye. They don't give a shit about this trophy or banner. IU does, all right? They haven't won this thing since 1967. I believe in these Hoosiers. I'm excited. I mean, I've been a lifelong fan.
I've never really heard you talk about Hoosiers till today.
No, we've waited a long time. My whole life, brother.
He graduated from
up in Massachusetts. You know what Massachusetts is? It's a pro sports town, and it's a Hoosier town, baby. They all love.
Actually, don't you spell it MASSACHOOSETTS? Isn't it Massachusetts? Isn't that what you guys call it up there because of the Hoosiers?
You nailed it. Not to mention, I do believe actually SIG was conceived in Massachusetts. So throw that into the loop as well. And SIG's name. I mean, as soon as Signetti became a big-time coach, I believe Massachusetts thought like, oh, we'll be JMU fans. And then as soon as he went to IU, it was, thank goodness we can go back to the school we've always rooted for, the Hoosiers. I'm very excited for this. I think it is going to be not just the conference championship game of the weekend, but looking back over the past 5-10 years, I think it's going to be the best Big Ten championship they've had in a long, long time. And that's coming off of Penn State, Oregon, which was a great game. But I can't wait for this one. I think it's going to be a great day of ball. And Texas Tech, BYU to kick it off at noon, I think is going to be another banger as well.
Yeah, I'm very pumped for the college slate. I'm very pumped for the NFL slate. It's going to be a spectacular weekend. Let's go to one half of the Hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone, 78% of the money, 76% of the bets, 80% of the money all lost last night. Is that what I was watching while saying to myself, of course, of course, of course. That's all I kept saying throughout the entire game about the Lions being the favorites, even though they didn't look the best the week before, and the line moving to 3.5 from 3 when all the money was going the other way. Felt like the sports books were kind of in their bag. Is that what we just need to understand, Tone, going forward?
Yeah, that was when we were doing the show, it was 77% of the money was on the Cowboys. Or sorry, I should say 78% of the bets were on the Cowboys. 80% of the money was on the Cowboys. And then it closed 72% of the bets on the Cowboys and 65% of the money on the Cowboys. So some money came in on the Lions late. We talked about yesterday how the line got better for the Cowboys as the day went on, even though all the money was on them. And they call that reverse line movement in the world, which is, sometimes an indicator that you might be on the wrong side if you're on the same side as all of the money. But Foxy talked about it yesterday. The Lions, 14 straight wins after a loss, 13-1 against the spread after a loss. They were averaging 35 points per game after a loss. They eclipsed that total last night. They've just been an absolute wagon after a loss and at home. That's just what Dan Campbell football is. They do not lose 2 in a row. They always bounce back. That was a great win for the Lions last night.
In plus territory last night, the Lions had 29 plays for 216 yards, averaging 7 yards a clip, 4 for 5 in the red zone. The Cowboys, 40 plays, 142 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards.
Remix, we got a glitch going on. I don't know if we got a little glitch going on.
40.
Yep.
You kept saying 42 yards over and over and over again. I don't know if you can hear us now. Oh, yeah. I guess, Pat, we're going to reconnect with you, buddy. I think it was a situation. We kept remixing.
That was a good stat.
It was cool.
It was incredible.
Add that into the next song maybe on an album. Like
42 yards. How do you feel about tomorrow? Like, do you think Ohio State cares as much as really? Yeah.
I think they absolutely care because, Indiana's like the number 2 team in the country. I think Ohio State wants to prove that they're number 1 team. Like, hey,
that makes sense.
I agree. They are good. They do have a lot of respect for Indiana and what they have done. Sorry, mine just glitched as well.
What the hell are you doing?
But even just thinking about like nobody talking about Ohio State all year, like is that something too? Is where it's like, hey, now is our time. Now is where if we dominate, people will actually talk about us. Just because it has been one of those situations, like when Georgia went back to back. Like, hey, we don't have to talk about Georgia all year because they're going to win it in the end. Like, do you think Ohio State has that same type of mindset?
Yeah, I think they all feel that. I think they feel like, hey, now our season has begun. Like this is This is what we came to do when we started out long ago in winter workouts. Like in winter workouts, they were talking about this season and when we get to, first off, let's go beat Michigan. That's what we want to do. Let's beat them, and then we're going to go, and that's when our season truly starts after that. And I think this is part of it.
This is where I wish that not only the quarterfinals was home games on campuses. Because that would make this game so much more important if it was also the semifinal round at home or whatever, because then you're looking at this game would be like for a home field advantage or whatever, one versus
two. Do you think they'll change that? They'll tweak that in the future?
I don't know, because I think there's so much money for those semifinal games. If you go to 16
teams, would that help? If you get a first round bye, maybe you get to play at home in the second round?
Yeah, it might, but I think because there's so much money.
It does suck getting punished for
the semifinal games.
You lose a home game if you get a bye.
Yes, you do. And I think we've asked Saban before, do you wish the next round, the bye round, was also home field advantage too? And he said yes, that would make sense. But the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, all those bowls, so much money in those bowls that I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it would be cool if it did.
Well, and I know they'll never do it because we're already in the time where hey, we need to have this playoff ranking show for the 4 weeks leading up to this. But could you imagine it would make the conference championship still matter if the first ranking show was on Sunday and it was the final one? Because then it's guess what? Indiana and Ohio State, this game does still matter a bunch. And I don't know. I mean, we've been to Ohio State's facility, programs like that, your most important trophy is the next one. They want to add a Big Ten championship to that. But on the flip side, for Indiana, this really is, this would be, the biggest deal for Indiana athletics, since Bobby Knight was there and they won a national championship. It was a long time.
And to Ty's point, I've seen some push on the internet for it only being one selection show the Sunday after all these games.
That's what they should do.
Just like college basketball does it, because then it also doesn't, the committee put out their rankings 4 or 5 weeks ago, whenever it started or whatever, and then they're kind of pigeonholed into those initial rankings. They can't have someone at 2 1 week and then drop them all the way to 11 or something like that, because they put them at it pigeonholes them into these initial rankings where if they only did the one, it's more free flowing. They have all the information. They just put one on at the end, and then there's not as much bitching.
You can't contradict yourself with a team like Notre Dame, where a couple weeks ago it seemed pretty evident, hey, if they beat Stanford in their last game, they're going to get in, and that's going to be
or whatever.
Exactly. And then so they don't play, and now they have to come up with these new formulas. Well, this is the reason we had to move them down, and that is where all the conjecture comes in, where people are these guys are full of shit. They're just making this up as they go. They have no idea how to do this, but obviously, you need the programming. So that's not going to happen.
The Notre Dame argument, so when I first came, I've been to head to head, who won? Obviously, they lost to Miami, right? So Miami gets in. But then when I hear Pete Bevacqua and I think about him, your team from week 1 until the last game of the season, you grow so much. You are a different team. Most teams are much, much better. Some teams get worse due to injury and whatever things happen. But Notre Dame's definitely much better than they were week 1. So I understand the argument for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then even their loss, I get the head-to-head for Miami, but let's look at their other loss. Miami's other loss isn't as good as Notre Dame barely losing to Texas A&M. That's a very, very tough team. Texas A&M basically was a top 3 team the entire year until they lose in a rivalry game at Texas. So it is such a tough situation. When are they going to get rid of the automatic bids? Is that also a conversation, just because it does feel
Sounds
as though
like Kirk wants that out.
Yeah, the conference championship thing just feels stupid, because that whoever wins the Big Ten is one of the best teams in the country. Whoever wins the SEC, one of the best teams in the country. And then typically an Indiana or a Bama, there will be a situation where whoever they're playing isn't one of the best teams in the country.
But if you listen to what Pete just said, and a lot of people love the 5+11 model, which will be the 5 conference champions.
Okay.
And then the 11 at-larges. So it doesn't feel like those are going to go away anytime soon if they're talking about going to the 16-team.
Kirk said they signed an extension. 11. ESPN signed an extension?
Yeah, so there was a deadline, I think it was a week or so ago, for ESPN and the college football playoff or whatever to decide if they were going to 16 or not, and that just kind of got pushed back. They just gave an extension to make that decision.
Okay, good. I think we got things figured out. Pat, what's going on over there, buddy? We got you guys back? Oh, here we go.
Hey, I always appreciate whenever people have to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge their way through some technology and make some good decisions. Shout out to Bruce and Barcode, the entire squad here, getting us back connected. And not just connected, we're at the greatest of all time, a man who has no history in this building, Coach Nick Saban.
Yeah, Coach!
Thank you, man. Thank you.
How you doing, Coach? Okay, Coach, so the big question is, obviously there's a lot of football fans where I live and where AJ lives that go, game day should be at the Big Ten Championship this year because Ohio State and Indiana is about to be insane. Obviously, could have definitely done that. In our eyes, would have been spectacular. But I think what people don't understand whenever they come down here is there is an aura around the SEC Championship. It's like every year it does feel like it is the Super Bowl of the South. And what do you kind of think about whenever you get down here, just from your own personal experiences?
Well, I think having played in this game a few times, it's one of the best competitive venues that I've ever been a part of because the passion that people have in this conference and the support that this game has had, Atlanta's sort of a great place to have it. So this building is a great place to play it. And there's usually two really good, highly ranked teams playing in the game. So there is a lot of history to it. And I don't want to minimize the Big Ten championship because obviously I coach in that league, and that was, really significant if you could win the Big Ten. And to have the number 1 and number 2 teams playing for the Big Ten championship, I think that's the only time two undefeated teams, 1 and 2, have ever played in that game. That's pretty significant too. So,
got great ball. I think championship weekend's going to live up to the hype.
No doubt.
Tough decision for game day every week, you would hope. And the fact that we're a part of a show that people want us to be at their game is an honor. Like that is, you don't just fall to that point. Obviously, what game day has done for all these years has made it a special treat every time we go anywhere. But obviously, living in Indianapolis, would have loved to be. They would have shut the city down. But this place does shut down for the SEC. Let's talk about these two teams. Obviously, you know Alabama very well. You're in the building still. You're around Kalen DeBoer and the squad that they have. Feels like what they've become through Ty Simpson's arm is a team that could certainly go on a run during the playoff. This Georgia team, though, since losing, to Alabama, have become one of the dominant teams in all of football. Obviously, people talk about Indiana and Ohio State. We just had Pete Bevacqua, the athletic director at Notre Dame, and he said outside of them, who's really been as hot as Notre Dame has? I guess Georgia would be the team that you could potentially say that. What are your thoughts on the two teams and how they're playing at this exact moment?
Yeah, I think Georgia's playing really, really well. I think, since the Bama game, they've made significant improvements on both sides of the ball, but especially on defense. And in the last 3 games, something that was a little bit of an Achilles heel for them is getting off the field on 3rd down. They've been doing that better. And to me, in the first game, Alabama went 9 for 9 in the first half and got ahead by 14 points by going 9 for 9 on 3rd down, which was a huge difference in the game. So I think that's going to be important. At this time of the year, lots of teams are beat up. Who can manage and handle from a depth standpoint as well as a mental toughness standpoint, overcoming adversity at this time of the year, playing in a championship game. This is always a great game, and I'm sure it'll be a great game. Ty Simpson has done a great job, all year long. And, one of the things that I think is important is, Ty has been leaving the home position to change plays. Platform, and the other team is changing the defense. So that doesn't create any advantage for you by checking a play on offense. So hopefully he'll do a little better job of that this week, and that won't be a problem for Alabama's offense.
It sounds like that was a coaching point that you had, certainly for Ty Simpson. I don't know if you let it be heard in the building or if right now you're kind of letting it fly and saying, hey, Ty, why don't we fucking listen up?
This is the first place we released that kind of information.
Ty, need to listen before the SEC championship. Last question for me is just about these championship games as a whole. I mean, we were just in the game day production meeting. Obviously, it came up. Last week, it came up. In the offseason, it came up. Our championship game is going to lose its luster. It's going to lose its luster. Kirby and Kalen aren't telling their teams that the SEC championship hasn't lost its luster, right? Like, that conversation never happens for the actual teams that are involved. It's just kind of the conjecture around it. Is that accurate?
Well, I think there's so much emphasis on the playoffs that, bowl games have become a lot more insignificant, which they used to be really significant. And I think these championship games, because of the, in a way, unfair ramifications that they can have. You got some teams sitting at home not playing in a game that may benefit from a team losing that is playing in a game, which doesn't seem quite exactly right, but it could happen, will happen probably, because we'll probably reshuffle the deck a little bit after these championship games. But I do think that it has lost its luster. But let me just say this about this game. Winning the SEC is a really significant accomplishment. It always was to me. It always was to our team. And I don't think that part of it for these two teams has changed at all.
Yeah, and their fans, right? I mean, that's the...
Oh, absolutely.
Because Roll Tide Willie wants to be able to say that he won the SEC championship.
That's right.
I mean, there's people all around Georgia that say, them dogs won the SEC, so I don't want to hear it. That's a big deal.
No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to walk around the SEC in full strut and say you won the SEC.
You guys do that ever? Do you ever go full strut peacock on them a little bit? Is that just your entire career?
That's not me. That's not who I am.
Yeah. AJ, any questions for Coach Saban, AJ?
Yeah, I do, Coach. To pivot quickly, I know Matt Campbell, I guess Pete Bevacqua was saying that they're in talks. And most likely he's going to be the next Penn State coach.
Final stages.
If they figure all the minutia out. I guess.
Listen to this, though. Hold on, though, AJ.
Yeah.
Hold on, AJ. I would like to tell Coach Saban this. This is what was reported. They're working towards a deal. There's multiple steps that haven't been finalized yet, like the terms or the compensation or anything like that. Never read anything like this before. But basically just he's going to be the head coach. Sorry, AJ, just so you know where we're at right now. They don't know the money. They have no idea the terms, but they both have kind of said to each other, we're going to do this. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, Coach, I'm glad we give Coach the context of it. Like, what would you say as a coach going from a team like Iowa State, obviously, where you win 8, 9, 10 games a year, people are happy, but Penn State, it's like, okay, how quick is he going to win a national championship, or how he needs to get there in the first couple of years? What's it like as a coach, I guess, when you finally take that step to where you're at a place like that to where, hey, we have to win every game?
Well, but I think that, creating that expectation is actually, not favorable to being able to do it, because every time you have a misstep, everybody gets negative on where the program is and what the program can accomplish. And I think the most important thing is to have your administration, your fan base, and everybody stay positive in what you're trying to accomplish and what your goal is. All right, so these places that have, to me, a little bit of unrealistic expectations that we're going to win the national championship. Only one team wins a national championship, and there's a lot of competition out there. There's only 12 teams that get in the playoffs, and really only 10 of them, because 2 of them may not even be ranked high enough to deserve to get in, but in the system they get in.
Okay.
So anyway,
you've stated
so
your
there's
claim.
the top 10 teams that get in the playoffs. And then you got to win in the playoffs against really good teams, and you got to stay healthy, and you got to have a quarterback, and you can't lose the wrong guys at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, there's all kinds of factors that go into whether you can finish the season the way you want. So to make that sort of the goal, which is an outcome, we got to win the championship or we're going to get rid of the coach, to me is totally wrong, and they'll have a hard time doing it if that's the approach that they take. Look, Matt Campbell did a great job at Iowa State because he won more there than most. So that tells you what the potential of the place is and what he was able to accomplish. I'm sure he'll be able to do the same thing at Penn State. But how many times has Penn State won the national championship since we had playoffs and since we had BCS games and all that? I mean, refresh my memory on that.
Yeah,
so why is that their standard of excellence?
Well, because they have a lot of money.
Good question.
And they won back in the day. They won back in the day.
So let's go back to that statement about everything's not been decided. It's not just how much compensation the coach is getting, it's how much money they got to pay the players.
Which is what Lane Kiffin actually said in his presser, which I think this would be a good time to bring this up for you, actually, because your name has also been a part of this entire conversation as a mentor for Lane Kiffin, especially alongside Coach Carroll after his dad passed away. OGs in the coaching game have looked out for him, which is a very cool thing. But he said in his press conference, and a lot of people said he was lying, he said, I didn't even know what I was getting paid. I think everybody was going to pay me the same. So I think Lane had a gauge, like he was going to get paid a lot of money and everybody was going to pay him the exact same. He said his big question was, how much money do we have for the players? And what he said was LSU clearly had the better setup for what the future is. That's the reality of current college football.
Absolutely.
Penn State, allegedly, from everything we've been told and what we have seen, they have all of that. and they haven't been able to get a coach signed, and there's been a lot of panic, I think, amongst their people. Having somebody like Matt Campbell, they win this. I think they win the headline here. Don't you think with Matt Campbell, don't you think they can, at least with their donors and everything that kind of matters?
I think absolutely. I think they're getting a great coach who's proven on a consistent basis. He didn't just win one time. He's won consistently at a place that's not a place that people would recognize as some place you should win all the time.
Yeah, they've been horseshit forever,
speaks
Coach.
Volumes of the job he does.
Oh, that's an Iowa fan. That's Ty from Iowa saying Iowa State is horseshit. But on that
they were before he got there.
I think that is why people are so impressed by Matt Campbell, is because his culture is one of success, and it's at a place that I don't think, especially in the modern world, none of us are saying Iowa State's name whenever it comes to NIL conversation. 72-55, which is damn near 57%. Previous 10 seasons, 41-82. Jesus. Okay, before he gets there. So yeah, they were kind of shite, and then Matt Campbell gets there and they're good. And for Penn State, I think we all thought there was a chance they weren't even going to have a coach next year. They already missed signing day, and allegedly the Big Deluxe was keeping people away, which I think the Big Deluxe said, oh, okay, if a car breaks down on the side of the road somewhere, blame me. Why am I always the guy that's getting blamed for everything? Well, it's because he's involved with everything, as are you, okay, in this college football conversation. Have you seen your coaching tree yet? Have you seen the most updated, most recent one?
No.
Somebody put a tweet out that basically has all your coaches and where they're at right now. It's starting at 12, counting down to 1. It's pretty much what it is. Nick Saban's FBS head coaching tree as of November 30th. You got Kirby Smart at Georgia here, Sark at Texas, Lane Kiffin at LSU, Sig at Indiana, Lanning, obviously, Cristobal, Brent Key, Pete Golding, O'Brien, and you name it. Even all the way down to Butch Jones, who I see a gif of him losing his mind all the time. It is truly a beautiful thing. But, you're obviously a part of a lot of different conversations and a lot of different storylines and a part of a lot of different people's lives. Lane Kiffin's situation, did you think that was pretty chaotic, even in the scheme of what chaotic situations can be in college football? I don't think I expected it to get as loud and as nasty as it all got at the end. But then after we get through it, I found myself thinking to myself, well, I'm so naive. It was going to get like that regardless. Is that kind of the thought whenever you're talking about hey, people are going to hate you regardless because it's SEC football? Is that a part of the combo with Lane or any of these guys that have to make these massive decisions?
Well, I don't think you can go from one SEC school to another without a whole bunch of people getting pissed off. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter. I mean, because you got these passionate fan bases on both sides of the fence. So, and anybody that is viewed as somebody who sort of promoted one thing or the other is probably going to get criticized too. I have a lot of people calling me, asking me for advice based on, I guess, my experience. And as a human being, I don't care if you're a player, a coach, or an administrator, whoever it is, for the love of the game, I'm always going to try to give them the best information that I can. I never tell them what to do. I always just say, what do you want to do? Where can you do it the best? Can you accomplish your goals the best? Where do you have the best opportunity to be successful? What's best for your family? So I don't make anybody's decisions for them. I just try to offer the best advice that I can relative to them being able to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
But why don't you tell them to go call somebody else and kick rocks? Why don't you stay the hell out of it, Coach Saban? Okay, we don't need you telling Lane Kiffin to go down to Louisiana. We got a team here in fucking Alabama we're trying to win, and now you're sending Lane Kiffin down to LSU. Why don't you just hang up on him and not give him any advice at all? There's people that think that.
Well, if I did that, though, I mean, I wouldn't feel good about myself not helping people who were colleagues of mine who helped us be successful and created value in what we were able to accomplish. And, you appreciate that. And you're loyal to those people who were loyal to you, who helped you. So I would have a hard time dealing with that personally. And I think there's a lot of people out there that say, well, what kind of person would be that way that he wouldn't help his colleagues make choices and decisions that are, hopefully going to help them accomplish the goals that they have, which is up to them, not up to fans or anybody else me.
You say colleagues. Nobody's really your colleague, bro. Okay? We've all worked in your world. You're breathing different air, which is why everybody would like to hear what you think in this entirety. And the fact that you give back and listen to everybody is a good quality, not a bad one. And I think that situation was insane with the calendar. Obviously, we can get into it all. Also, how close he was to a national championship with Ole Miss. Don't you think you want to stick it out? What's available at LSU? We'll talk to Lane Kiffin tomorrow.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for that. And I'm excited for everybody's, the internet, especially all the Ole Miss fans. They're like, wow, this is just going to be a fourth piece for Lane Kiffin. It's like, okay, I mean, we're certainly going to
ask some hard questions.
Yeah, well, I've heard how it's starting. I think there's some real questions. There's some real journalisming happening tomorrow, from our understanding, from the meeting we just got out of. But also, I think Lane knows some answers on some stuff too, which I think he knows. And then obviously he'll be able to talk about the decision and what he's expecting out of LSU. Which, if you talk to anybody that's been around ball a long time, they're like, LSU, you got a good thing set up over there. You got a good setup down there, which he will certainly hit on and talk about as well. I think more explanation will be good, but also good conversation at the SEC championship.
But this is a based on the calendar and the circumstances in football. It's always difficult when you're a coach, and I've been in this situation before, and I absolutely hated it and couldn't sleep at night over it, where you have an opportunity to go someplace that's maybe better than where you are, maybe not. Maybe you view it as better, maybe not. And you want to be loyal to the team that you have because of what they've done to create the success that has helped you get the opportunity. So you get caught in the rock and a hard place as to how do you make a decision. Because if Lane would have stayed and hired his coach, LSU would have hired somebody else. So he knows he's given up the opportunity if he makes that decision, which is really what he'd love to do because of the loyalty he has to his team. But you can't have both. So... And you're going to get criticized probably either way.
Yeah, not probably, definitely.
Right.
Just because then he was stringing along LSU. Then the LSU people would be mad because he was stringing them along if he didn't pick together. I mean, college football is insane, which is why it's awesome. But it is an insane situation. And the more I learn about it and the more situations I go through, it's like there was no winning, I think, for this one. But I still would like to restate. I was publicly and privately telling Lane that he should stay at Ole Miss, me, personally, just because I knew that there was potential, a lot of heat coming on the other side of it just by reading the tea leaves of the internet, but also having the opportunity to be I don't want to say a trailblazer, but like somebody that builds a place and builds a town. You obviously know a lot about this, Alabama, not you, but obviously Bear Bryant was there, but from where they were whenever you got there to what it became, it's like that's a cool legacy as well. But granted, the way he talked about it, LSU was a one-of-one job. Can't wait to catch up with him tomorrow. Let's pivot. Go ahead.
One thing about this that I think people probably don't see from maybe the perspective, I think sometimes as a coach, you think of, you said it, you build something. You build a program. All right, so you take over a program that's not so good, whether it's Michigan State, LSU, wherever I basically went, Alabama, and you build it. Well, once you build it and you have success, what's the next challenge? So that was the hard thing for me. I wanted Michigan State. I left and went to LSU. I wanted LSU. I went to the Miami Dolphins. Then I went back to Alabama. So then when you went to Alabama, when do you get to the place in your life where it's enough?
Yeah.
And you can just say, okay, every year is like a new job. I'm going to try to sustain this success here, which is much more difficult than building it to start with.
Yeah, chasing is something. Building the mountain is always much more fun than once you get to the top of it.
Once you get to the top, all right, because now the expectation goes up, like what we've talked about before at Penn State. The expectation goes up, and then all of a sudden you become more anxious about being able to sustain that level of success. So sometimes it's easier to just say, I'll just go build something someplace else.
AJ, what did Mac Brown tell us that we've remembered since then, basically what it got whenever he was at Texas?
Right? He was more of a relief than joy after a win.
Yeah, and losses were completely devastating.
Yeah, a win was relief, because you're supposed to win. And then a loss was just devastation. There was never any happiness. So if you're not able to kind of figure out what it is that makes you happy at a place and keep you going, it's like, I guess we can just consider a lot of you college football coaches, you got gypsy souls, man. Got a lot of gypsy souls as you kind of try to move around. And then also, anytime you see an opportunity and then you're given what the max could be, if you're a builder and a creator and things, it's like, oh, I could go do that. And then sometimes you're looking right in front of you and it's like, we're really close right here, though. Did we actually complete our goals? That's tough, man. That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, but to Mac Brown's point, how do you enjoy accomplishing something when the expectation is you were supposed to accomplish it and dominate it before you ever did it. So how does it not become relief just to win a game? And the only joy is when you accomplish the goal of winning the championship or whatever, which is the expectation.
Yeah, and then that's for what, 20 minutes?
Exactly.
And then what? We got to recruit. We got to do this again next year. And then it's on. That is why you, having the dog mentality of always wanting to better and get better at the same place, is very rare, which is why everybody's asking for your opinions. But when you give opinions, people aren't going to like to hear that you're maybe sending somebody to LSU. Now, let's talk about college ball a little bit. You know, you're a bad guy. This guy, terrible guy. This guy did nothing for Alabama. This guy did nothing for Alabama. I'm joking. That's what I did see you. You were taking some heat on the internet, which I don't like, because you're fucking Nick Saban. Mm-hmm. You're the guy that we would all pick to put in as president of the United States if you would ever let us. You are the guy.
But I did not make a decision for anybody.
Yeah, right.
I did not.
Yeah,
I did not. All right. So, so you think I wouldn't have been catching hell on the internet if I'd have said stay at Ole Miss?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's no
LSU fans are going to get on your ass for saying that.
Me?
Yeah.
No, they like me because I go, hey, oh. You remember the chant?
Oh, yeah. Now you're in the music business, huh? How about that shit?
We are doing. All right, let's move along.
Right.
Let's get back to the college football business. Ty Schmidt has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, we talked about this a little bit with you last year, and I understand coaches don't think like this, and neither do players. But with the current model and the way it's set up, do you think any coach is maybe thinking like, hey, that 5 seed is kind of where we want to be? I understand we want to go undefeated. You want to be the number 1 seed. But you look at last year, Oregon, you know, they get the bye and then they get the doors blown off of them by Ohio State, whereas this year they're sitting at 5, and there's a very good chance that, you know, if they play a Tulane or a North Texas, no disrespect to either one of them, but Oregon's going to be like a 4-touchdown favorite in that game, and it maybe gives them the opportunity to kind of get hot at the right time. So if you're coaching a team, like, do you think the bye is almost a detriment in this current model that we're in, or is that still the end-all, be-all?
No, I think last year the bye was a detriment because most of the teams that had byes didn't perform very well. But I think the real key is, you know, where is your team right now? If your team's playing really well and you got momentum, all right, which you've created by playing well because you earned your own momentum, then do you really want to bye or not? Would you rather keep playing and build on that momentum? If your team's all beat up and you got a bunch of guys hurt up at this time of the year and some time off would be beneficial, then I think having a bye week is probably a good thing. So I think the circumstance determines whether it's a good or bad thing based on where your team is. But I think that a lot of coaches have to really examine how do we get ready for a game when we have all this time off.
A lot of time.
I think, you know, that's one of the things. I mean, you can look at my record. When I was at Michigan State, we went to, 4 bowl games? We got the lining kicked out of our ass in every one of them because I tried to practice from the season to the bowl game. And by the time we got there, the players were so tired of practicing. I mean, psychologically, they just wanted to get it over with. And then I started making it when I went to LSU. This is a 1-game season. So we're not practicing maybe for 2 or 3 weeks. Players just work out, lift weights, have 7-on-7 on their own every now and then. Coaches aren't around them. And then we're going to practice 11, 12 times before the game. And that's it. And then we started winning because everybody was looking forward to it and all that. So how you manage that time off. You know, sometimes less is more. But as coaches, you think the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Sometimes it doesn't work. Not at this time of year.
It's such a crazy philosophy, especially for the GOAT to say. It's like, actually, whenever we were practicing more, we got worse. So we need to stop practicing, almost make them think they have like a little mini off season, right? They're getting and then they'll be excited to get the pads back on and kind of get back into work. That was what you said psychologically you saw from your team?
That's right. And we won when we did that, and we lost when we did it the other way.
Did you ever win here? Did you ever win these games?
I remember the one we lost here in 2008 to Tebow when we had a young team, second year at Alabama, but a bunch of dogs on that team. Pretty damn good. They just all freshmen.
You talk about Mac Brown saying if you win, it's a relief. If you lose, it's devastating. I don't know how many you've won here. I assume 8 or 9 or something like that. And then you go, yeah, I remember the one we lost, Tim Tebow, asshole, that guy. I'll never forget it. Like, that's your first memory, which is why you are who you are. Speaking of you are who you are, you've created billions of dollars in NFL revenue for your player. There's a guy up in Detroit who has changed and transformed the way their team plays. Go ahead, con man.
Yeah, Coach, you recruited Jahmyr Gibbs, got him to transfer from Georgia Tech, I believe in the 2022 season. What was it like coaching a player like that? Was he, as electric as some of the other dudes that you've had? I mean, you've had Heisman winners, but Gibbs himself right now is taking over the NFL. He actually just became the quickest or most touchdowns before or in his first 3 seasons. Yeah, there is before turning 24. He also, I believe, passed Randy Moss for the most touchdowns in the first few seasons of his career as well. That was another stat. But what was it like having Jahmyr Gibbs, and what do we not know about him as a player or the person that you kind of got to experience that season?
Right. Well, I was surprised that when we looked at Jahmyr Gibbs when he was at Georgia Tech, I saw this guy that had this great ability to make you miss, and probably one of the most important facets of being a great running back is to make a cut and get to full speed. How fast can you get to full speed out of a lateral cut? This guy can do it as well as anybody. I know they compare him to Barry Sanders, and he made a lot of guys miss, and I played against him, and he made a lot of our guys miss. But that's what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. He's tough. He's a great person. He's a great receiver. And this guy can just do it all. And he's making people miss. He runs behind his pads, even though he's not a great big guy. But he's hard to tackle, and he's got great acceleration and burst and speed out of a cut, which I think makes him unique in terms of his skill set, what he can do as a complete player in this offense. And you got to give the Lions credit because they use the guy the right way. They get him the ball the right way.
Yeah, they get him the ball a lot. And also they have another running back, Monty, who had a big night. But Jahmyr Gibbs clearly becoming a separator on offense. So fast, so explosive, fast. So dynamic, so cool. Do you like the number 0? You like the number 0 on him or no?
I'm not big on what number they wear when they can score touchdowns like he does. So it doesn't matter to me. I mean, he could have no number.
That'd be sweet.
Coach, you're the absolute greatest. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for welcoming us here to your SEC championship. It's an honor to be down here.
Well, it is an honor, and there's a lot of memories that go into this place. And one of them was when I first came to the SEC in 2000, Roy Kramer was the conference commissioner. And he had been a very successful coach at Central Michigan, of all places, in Michigan, in the Mid-American Conference, and even before when they weren't in the Mid-American Conference. And he was very, very successful. But this guy is a legend in terms of being an old-fashioned football guy. I mean, he watched high school games right up until he's 96 years old. He's still watching high school games. He's still going and very involved in the game. And, I always say they don't make them like they used to. I don't think they make very many of them like Roy Kramer.
Well, rest in peace to Roy Kramer. Thank you for your services to football and to life. He was the creator of the BCS. Roy Kramer created the BCS. He was a commissioner for 11 years, obviously ball coach elsewhere, and I believe today he was announced passed away recently.
Yeah,
right?
Today.
Yeah, so rest in peace. Sorry about that. Hey, sorry about that.
Appreciate
honestly.
you, man.
We are very thankful that you join us every single week, and tomorrow should be electrifying as you pick Georgia to beat your Alabama team, right? You're going to call the dogs. You're going to do the whole thing and say, to hell with Alabama, just like I sent Lane Kiffin down to LSU. I was sick of Alabama having success. Is that what you're going to do?
What do they call it when they take toilet paper and throw it all over your trees at your house?
T-pin.
T-pin, yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you're trying to get?
No. I would never want that. I would never want that. Or eggs like they did to Patullo allegedly up there in New Jersey and Philadelphia for the Eagles. But we appreciate the hell out of you, Coach. Hell of a year out of you. You've crushed it this year. You know that.
Hell yeah,
I have
Coach.
Fun. I enjoy it. And being alongside of you brings out the best in me. I got to say that.
I do wonder what's going through your head sometimes. Like the shout up there in Eugene, you getting up and dancing, getting down low. A lot of people say, wow, good knees on Saban. He got down there low for the shout, then you turned it back up. I appreciate you riding in there. You do. You ride in there, and I appreciate that.
But see, I wouldn't do that with anybody else but you.
Miss Terry.
Yeah, Miss Terry.
Yeah, Miss Terry. Miss Terry's here, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving, Miss Terry. Happy holidays. She gave us a gift. He's playing an accordion.
Oh.
Accordion on the Christmas card. Looks awesome.
Wait,
he looks like a real musician.
Whoa, what was that about, Coach? What was that about? What was that eye roll, Coach?
I guarantee you that I did not approve that Christmas card. The first time I saw it was today. There's no way that shit's going public.
I will make sure I get a
Do you
photo
play
of
the
that
accordion?
thing.
You play the accordion?
I will make sure
I
we
did.
Oh, wow.
My grandma Saban made us all learn how to play accordion when we were kids. One of the reasons that I started playing ball when I was 9 years old was to get out of going to accordion lessons.
Okay, so now the fact that you know the accordion, I might need you on the next song. I might need you on. I might need you on another song in this entire thing. Hold on, I think we got it here. Actually, let's go ahead and zoom in on that down there. And yeah, so that is the.
Hell yeah!
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if we
Rocking
can
around.
get it focused
Keep
or
it coming.
not.
Keep it coming. How many dogs do you have?
That's him on the accordion. That's unbelievable work out of you. And look at Miss Terry absolutely crushing it as we should have expected. How many different photos were taken here, and how long does it take to piece together here? What were you playing there?
I had nothing to do with it.
What?
Don't lie. Don't lie, Coach.
What are you talking about? Merry Christmas, jolly old Saint Nick. I thought that was the entire.
Oh, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody, but you don't even see me playing an accordion to enjoy yourself.
I need you on an accordion on my next song. I need you on my next song. Is that possible? Let's do that.
Absolutely.
We see one. What's the sound? That's the sound, right?
That's it.
I need that on the next song. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Nick Saban.
Yeah, Coach.
Hey, Coach. I could see him playing the harmonica too.
Oh yeah.
Don't you think? The one, maybe he gets the one that has like the
Bob Dylan one. Yeah. Where he can hold the accordion too.
He's playing the accordion, and then everyone's making bop down and play that harmonica.
Have you seen the video of him playing the sax with the Blues Brothers shades and hat on?
Nick Saban?
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I actually have not.
Is that a real thing, or are you just being toned right
I thought I saw that somewhere.
Are you thinking of when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall?
Played the saxophone like in 1993?
Maybe I am.
I think you are.
Maybe I am.
With that being said, Fox, we pop up the playoff predictions, I guess, here, the Rammies for the NFL games on the slate here. So, okay, Carmen, explain what this exactly is right now.
So the number on the left for the teams is if they win. If the Colts win, they got an 86% chance to make the playoffs across the board. You see how that works. On the other side is if they lose. If the Jags lose, they still have a pretty good chance because they have tiebreakers with a lot of the other wild card teams. But the other real games that matter here, if you look at it, Steelers and Chiefs. Both of them need to win. If they lose, it is pretty detrimental to them making a run at the big dance. So I know Tony is not shaking in his boots because he's pretty confident in Rodgers this weekend, but definitely a must-win for Pittsburgh.
I would, Tony, honestly, you've kind of flip-flopped. You were down the dumps,
Yeah, I took my time.
On suicide watch for a couple of days, but then you came around. It feels like you're back on board with the Steelers.
Yeah, I came and I chose to be positive. I was tired of the negativity surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers and the cloud that was hanging over my head. So I thought about it, and we're playing for first place on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, who also haven't looked good. And if we win, we got the keys to the driver's seat to win the AFC North. So.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Pat, how about Coach Saban with the accordion? You're definitely getting him on at least one song.
The slate is packed for the NFL there with a lot of Rammies, and Coach Saban on the accordion for the next song, which is Oops is coming out, I think, in like a week or so. And then there's like 5 other ones that are coming. I mean, this is just the tip.
That's awesome.
I don't want to get into it, but this is just the tip of the dookie here, And I think as we kind of settle in, it's certainly going to become an enjoyable experience, and we appreciate everybody playing it. But talking to Coach Saban there on the way out, he was like, hey, you were trying to get the number on how many I won here? We're 18-1 in this building. He said, I won 17 straight here, 17 straight, 10 championships.
And you said, well, you probably ate 8 or 9 of them, didn't you? You know how pissed he probably was in his head, but he's like, I'm too humble to say.
He said 10 championships, thanks. 18-1 in this building. On the way out here, he said that. He said, you were trying to pull the number at this building, 18-1 here. I said, who? And And he goes, our teams, we're 17 straight here. Tim Tebow's the only one. Tim Tebow's the only guy that got it. And that was literally the first thing he thought about there.
And he's got 11 total.
11 total SEC championships?
Yeah, so one of them just wasn't in that building.
LSU probably, right? Ooh.
I'm not sure. Probably because the stadium wasn't built, right?
Yeah, he was national champion there. I assume they won the SEC championship as well there because nobody talks about the SEC championship from LSU. They only talk about the national championship from LSU. And also, I guess conversation is he loved his time down at LSU. Hey, let's go ahead and put some of our let's make our Sunday slate picks here. AJ, shall we, as we wrap up this glorious feel-good Dookie Friday, December 5th, 2025. Dookie available on all streaming platforms. It's an outrageous thing to even say that. Indianapolis Colts favored by 1.5 down there in Duval. Listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a boogeyman, if you would, to the Indianapolis Colts, especially down there. When their team is ass, they beat us down there. When their team is good, they beat us down there. So the thought of them ruining this season and continuing our loss with them is certainly feasible and possible, but I like the Indianapolis Colts. I like what Danny Dimes is going to be doing second week with a fractured fibula playing. He's going to be a little bit more understanding of the situation. Give me the Indianapolis Colts favored by 1.5 down there.
Oh boy, yeah, I love the Indianapolis Colts as well. I love what they're doing. I'm in their city right now, but I'm going Jags on this one, man. I do not like Danny Dimes having to limp around. The dude's a warrior, and then Adam Schefter's acting like it's a hairline fracture. It's nothing. Oh, everybody would play through this. No, he's a monster. He's playing through something, but give me the Jags.
You get him at +2.
Yeah, that's incredibly painful, I do believe. What can we get? You can get him at what?
You can get the Jags at +2.
I'll take that.
Jeez. Can I get... All right, -1.5.
Yeah.
There's a...
Are they practicing the chest pass, Dr. Pepper?
Yeah,
thing?
no, I think they're doing the Coke Zero chest pass right now.
No, it's still. We thought maybe Coke Zero was coming in, but it is still the Dr. Pepper tuition chest pass.
Did they tell him you got to throw it one-handed at least?
No.
Why?
It's the chest pass competition.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but remember, the reason why the chest pass started is because somebody couldn't throw it, and then they ended up winning, and now they're like a doctor or something. I forget what it is. Obviously, this is a part of it. And if they're going to be walked through the whole thing, that is awesome for us to have to deal with here. And there's a lot of people that is going to, hey, it's different down here. It's just different down here. Bengals traveling to take on the Buffalo Bills. Interesting story coming out of Buffalo. New stadium is basically going to be sold out every single week just from season ticket sales or season licensing sales in the entirety. The Buffalo Bills faithful are excited for their new stadium, and the Buffalo Bills fan base is obviously spectacular. Would that be enough for them to win by at least 6 as they host the Cincinnati Bengals team that had a massive primetime Thanksgiving win over the Baltimore Ravens? Who do you think, AJ? How do you like it?
Man, Bills at home. That was initially leaning Bills, but man, watching Joe Burrow, breathe some life back into this team, I'm going to take the Bengals on this.
T. Higgins is back as well, by the way.
Give me the Bengals.
Okay, can their defense stop Josh Allen and them? I guess they did great against Baltimore Ravens. Can we get them at +6 or no?
You could get the Bengals +6 or Bills -5.5.
I'll get give me the Bills -5.5. New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks favored by 8.5 at home. New Orleans Saints, obviously a team that has been playing better than we thought, even though they're still not good. We thought they were going to be completely ass. Bucks favored by 8.5 at home. AJ, who do you like? How do you like it? And Tone, do we have any other line?
8.5 across the board.
Okay. I like Tampa Bay Bucks at home. Give me Bake and the crew too. 8.5 feels like a lot, but I think they figure it out.
Me too. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC North rivalry of all rivalries. The Baltimore Ravens used to be the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh Steelers hated them in Cleveland. Then they go to Baltimore. They hate them there. This year, both fan bases are waiting to bury their respective teams upon a loss this weekend. Neither team's fan base, I would say, believe that their team can win a Super Bowl. And that's what we're in this whole thing for. Tone Diggs, how do you feel here just a couple days removed from the massive rivalry of the Steelers and Ravens taking place?
Yeah, I think I should let everyone know first that the dog in this matchup when it's Tomlin versus Harbaugh is 26-6-3 against the spread. So normally the dog, it's always a close game, so normally the dog covers in this one. But the last two, the Ravens have covered 7.5 and 9.5 because they've been able to run it down the Steelers' throats. I don't see anything different on Sunday. I think the Ravens will win easily.
Okay, so you're trying to reverse jinx this thing, it feels like.
No.
AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
So I heard Lamar got stepped on, missed a practice Wednesday, but he's back. He's
He's back. Yep.
Doing fine. That could be very painful. Give me the Steelers here, man. I think they find a way to keep it close.
All right, I'll take the Ravens. I'll bite. It doesn't feel like that should be the case at all, especially with how they played. Favored by 5.5. That feels like a lot of points in this particular rivalry. Everything kind of stinks a little bit. Yeah, a little dinky out there. So I'll take the Ravens just like last night. Seahawks, Falcons, Seahawks, good on the road. Road Warriors, actually. Favored by 7. Heading down into this beautiful stadium, which will play host as the Falcons are at home. AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
I like Seattle, man. I like Sam Darnold and Seattle and what they are doing. Their defense, I think, is sneaky good as well. So give me the Seahawks.
There's actually a 6.5.
I believe I'm frozen on your side. Am I frozen? You guys are completely frozen on my screen. So if I'm frozen,
you're good. You're moving.
Okay. Okay, good. It's great to be here, boys. I like the Seattle Seahawks with whatever one we can get. Miami Dolphins favored by 2.5 going in to take on the New York Football Jets. I like everything I'm seeing from Aaron Glenn, even through his challenge flag in a cool way. NFL Films released a little footage of him dropping that thing with a little pizzazz and then talking a little bit of shit. Maybe they're finding their culture over there. Is there any other lines we need to know about this one, Tone?
You can get the Jets at +3 or the Dolphins -2.5.
Okay, AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
I'm going back and forth on this one, but I like what Aaron Glenn's got going on. Give me the Jets +3 here.
AJ's been great at picking games. I have not been. So the fact that I'm just seeing so many differently than him does alarm me. But give me the Miami Dolphins. Even though it's going to be cold in New York, give me the Jets. I will take the Jets.
This is a something's got to give game. Their stats are coming out. Tua undefeated against the Jets. Tua in under 40-degree weather hasn't won a game, so it is something's going to happen where a team will win a game that they haven't ever.
I'll take the Jets +3. I completely forgot about the Miami Dolphins team whenever they travel north of the Mason-Dixon line in the winter. Tennessee Titans traveling into Cleveland. I like the Cleveland Browns no matter what they're favored by, especially at home.
Yep, I like the Browns as well. Myles Garrett going to try to set the sack record, get 4 or 5.
3.5.
Likely.
Washington Commanders taking on, we can get that at 3.5, you said?
Yep.
We will certainly do that. Washington Commanders taking on the Minnesota Vikings. What's the health status, boys, of the Washington Commanders and the Minnesota Vikings?
Jaden Daniels is a go. Yep, it just got announced that he will start Sunday versus the Vikings, and I also believe J.J. McCarthy passed concussion protocol. Not sure if that's good or bad, but I guess he is. I guess he is going to just go out there and spin that thing, is what he said. And Coach O'Connell and Josh McCown basically told him, like, hey, don't worry about playing to a T perfectly. Just go out and spin it.
I'll take Jaden over 9. AJ, how about you?
Yep, same as you, Commanders.
Denver Broncos 7.5. Is there any other lines, Tone?
They are. Sorry, I'm scrolling down. Broncos, you could get them 7. You could actually get them at 7 if you want.
Okay, AJ, you want them at -7?
Yep, I love the Broncos here -7.
Me too. Bears, Packers, Ty Schmidt.
I'm taking the Packers before
one.
you ask me. I'm taking a pack here at home.
Wow.
Okay, AJ said, I don't care what the number is. Give me the Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons coming out and saying they got no respect. I don't respect them either. I hate them. I like that it's a real rivalry. The Bears have a real team this year. So do the Packers. Ty Schmidt, you like being favored by 6.5 or no?
That seems a little high to me just with how well the Bears are playing. I do still think the Packers are going to win. They're hoping to get a couple guys back who have been out the last couple weeks. I think playing at Lambeau is a massive advantage. I could see this being a field goal game. I don't know if it is going to be 6.5, but yeah, as you see there, it is going to be frigid at Lambeau on Sunday.
How's Ben Johnson done against LaFleur?
Pretty good. Like the Lions over the last few years.
They don't love each other.
Yeah, they don't.
We know that.
But the Lions over the last few years have really kind of taken it to the Packers.
Give me the Bears. Okay. Now, how many points am I getting?
6.5.
6.5.
No more?
Nope. But
nowhere?
That's way too many anyway. Come on. The Bears should feel disrespected.
7-point dogs against Eagles.
All right, let's go to the Rams and the Cardinals. I like the Rams, -8.5, -8, whatever we can get as they travel out to beautiful Phoenix. We absolutely love them. The public is also on the Rams no matter what the spread would be against the Cardinals. And I'll wake up the next day feeling good taking the Rams. How do you feel, AJ, in this one?
I think the Rams are still one of the best football teams in the NFL, so give me the Rams here.
Coming off a loss, too, to the Panthers. Yep. Maybe Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay have their thing. And then the Houston Texans. That's a good football team. C.J. Stroud knocking off the rust. The defense, the Houston sack station's a problem. The Chiefs in the middle of a dynasty. Are they going to be able to find it? They're favored by 3.5 at home. AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
Honestly, I like the Houston Texans here. I know they're underdogs in Kansas City. I like C.J. Stroud, what he's doing. And obviously, the Houston D will continue to play well.
I like the Kansas City Chiefs a lot. This is Travis Kelce's flannel. I've worn it a couple times because it's kept me very, very comfortable in like the 30 to 50 degree weather range. He is a beast. I appreciate the hell out of him and Mahomes and Jones. Give me the Houston Texans. That's a good football team representing the AFC South, getting 3.5 points. We'll continue digitally. Stanford Steve will stop by to wrap up some of the college football conversation. We'll hit all the other storylines, and then we'll go into a greatest weekend of college football and NFL football that we've had all season. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. Play Dookie. Goodbye. I think I got it in there. I think I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. They might be done with this. I'm kind of feeling it. And then Stanford Steve will be up here. And, boys, let's enjoy the hell out of what we're about to do. This is a great weekend of ball right now.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the closer we get to it, the more excited I'm getting for it all. And don't feel obligated to play Dookie, but kind of, though. And also get creative. Get creative with Dookie. Get creative out there. I can't wait to see what you do. Obviously, we'll be doing giveaways and fun shit for everything. And, yeah, let's take a break. Stanford Steve will be on the other side. AJ, I appreciate you so much for driving over to Indy, brother.
Of course, easy. I enjoy it. Enjoy coming in here, seeing the Thunderdome, and yeah, it's always fun, man.
Have you heard that since the last time you've been there, and then the time before that, and the time before that, Foxy and I still have yet to lose?
Oh, you guys are still winning like that?
We're on quite the run.
Really? Is Bruce not playing? Bruce was a clutch shooter when I played a couple weeks ago.
Downtown Bruce Brown.
Bruce? Yeah, downtown Bruce Brown, who is our only insider. Yeah, not only that, but he also changed to a right push shot in the middle of the game if the lefty one's not falling, which he ended up doing to us yesterday, which is obviously a sign you're not going to win the game. And him and Connor kind of had that. But Bruce is the only insider in the game who also participates in the league in which he is the insider. So we appreciate what Bruce does for journalism for U-Ball and also for the game. But Foxy hit our first walk-off the other day because normally we shoot first, so we're always on defense to end the game. So D-Butch and Bone, well, who was it?
Conman.
D-Butch and Connor. D-Butch and Connor.
First time together.
Very tough team. They beat us. Then now we go to championship game, right? They shoot first, so we're shooting last. It gets to 11-10. Foxy, last shot. Wow. So they win. They have 11 points already. Foxy shooting with 10. Our first ever time ever really doing this. Foxy steps up, banks it home, sends it home. Not banks it home, hits off the back of the rim, sends it home, and full bang. Oh. Boom. Oh, I lost my shit. What a moment. Connor was not exactly thrilled. Neither was Butt. But it has been getting very intense, and I'm going to be honest. I don't know how long the game's going to last, but it feels good winning. Foxy, way to go, brother. I'm very proud of what you've been doing.
I would say that was by far and away our best day of U-Ball as an office as a whole. Those two games, D-Butt in the first game when they beat us, that was also a walk-off. So, yeah, it was incredible. We're on quite the run.
Bruce, what is the insider business saying about U-Ball right now?
Yeah. We played a fun game. Debo and I were looking like the Cincinnati Bengals on the defensive end, so got to clean that up. But, yeah, just looking to grow the game, keep the integrity of the game intact as much as possible.
Okay. And, Connor, what are your thoughts as we sit here when you were just one jumper from Foxy away from being the champion of U-Ball and getting that bedazzled little ball that's been sitting over there on my desk for the last couple months moved over to the toxic table?
I mean, it was a good debut for D-Bud and I thought. First game we've ever played together. We took you guys to the ropes, but the champs are the champs for a reason. You got to bury him when you got the chance. You can't just kind of pitter-patter to the end. We didn't play great on defense, didn't make enough shots, and maybe next week me and D-Bud will have another chance.
Connor and Butts, good team. That's a good U-Ball team. That's a good U-Ball team. There's some teams that really scare you, AJ. And especially guys that can play on offense and defensive side and also know strategy a little bit. It's, there's some good teams out there, and we're going to stay focused. We're 18-1 in that building, and we're going to try to continue that, AJ. And are you playing today? Have you played?
I don't know if I'll play today, but I believe me and Bruce hit a walk-off against you and Foxy like a month ago when I played.
No, it was Friday, so it wasn't against them.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't against me, brother.
I forget who we played, but we are undefeated.
Either way, Bruce had a walk-off.
Just know that ain't
No,
happening against me
I
as
was
well.
wearing the wig. You had a walk-off on Halloween. It was against you and Foxy. Yes. Yeah, obviously, I understand. Everything gets if Bruce hits a walk-off, it gets shoved under the rug. But Bruce did it. Good job, Bruce.
He's the insider. He's supposed to be.
He should have reported. You're right. You got to put that out, Bruce. That's on you.
Yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to know if it happened against me if he doesn't put it out?
You're right.
I mean, what are we even?
Just like Saban telling you 18-1.
Hey, yeah. By the way, fucking never lost one time. So that's it.
I own this place.
So go ahead and tell them whatever you talk about. 10 championships in this fucking thing. I mean, think about him walking on here, just, God, welcome to my fucking stadium, is how he should feel. And we'll go ahead and celebrate that tomorrow. All right, be a friend, tell a friend something nice might change your life. Take 5.
I'm all the way in Eugene, smoking on some new green, changing up the routine, gratitude truly, feel like new school dean, life's pretty cool, G3 jobs, fuel means tank top, blue jeans, never change, crew needs, deep shots, view screens, movie star, 2 scenes, bank account juicy, cancel you me, boogeyman's spooky, folks watch, who sees hating folks dookie, yeah, you ain't. Yeah, you waiting for Duque. Yeah, you waiting for Duque. Yeah, I'm up here in Eugene, smoking on some new green, checking out some new scenes. And you waiting for Duque. They can run it, they can spin it, they can kick it. This Buckeyes team is playing football at a level nobody else in the country is playing right now.
That's so stupid. That's crazy. And also take us off the fucking team. We do not deserve to be up there.
They all commit and love what's going on in that weight room. They all commit and love what Jim Harbaugh's preaching. And everybody in the building's happy. Everybody's like excited to be there.
First row. Our pressure in the first row. Second row was on here.
It is infectious what they got going on. And how many owners are spending $300 million on a new facility just for a practice facility?
This is Butler Birdies. Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
In the bunker.
Great shot. But then for them to do it upright for the last couple, it's like, look out for the Chargers, dude. Look out for the Chargers.
Coach. Hey, we got a gift for you. Here we go. Okay, so we missed your birthday, we missed Christmas. We couldn't
Whoa, look at that.
Your perspective on high five is one of the greatest things we've ever seen.
The all-time great invention.
I love the high five. Yeah, give each other a high five. Boom! Bam! Boom! Bam! Yeah! Boom!
Boom! Oh my God! Wow! Boom! So we wanted to make you basically something that you could high five. My dad made this.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
He is talented.
Yeah, boom. Keep that feeling. Yeah. Boom! Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And we tested it. I think we can get a pretty good pop if you need. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Obviously, national champion, Michigan man, and greatest high five.
Yeah.
Because of what you brought for the high five world.
Oh, yeah.
He tried to give a handshake to that particular high five trophy. Did break the hand off. We had to put it back on.
Way to go, handshake.
Oh no!
There we go.
We have so much respect.
You guys just roll deep. This would be entourage level, wouldn't it?
To be honest, we didn't know we were going to be able to get 11 people in here, and then we pulled up and said, you have 11. That's where it should roll 11. Yeah, always start 11. You're right. You're the best. I mean, wow, it looks like a lot of highlights against one particular team.
They played more than one game. Why do they have all these TVs for one game?
Imposing our will.
This sucks.
Party in the backfield.
No one.
We mean no
one. How pieces of Hut, this might be close.
I love that Chargers team even more now.
If you were to touch this grass, it would feel as if the history of football was kind of one with your soul, one with your body. And then you look at the views, the San Gabriel mountains with the cotton candy clouds, the way the sun will rise and then the sun will set. And as the sun is setting tonight, there's going to be a football game taking place. You're talking about movie stuff. What do you think it is about your team in that locker room? And why do you think you guys have been able to show up every week?
I think the buy-in on our team is unbelievable. We talk about a player-led team. I think a lot of people say that, but so rarely do you actually see it.
Two Goliath Big Ten teams. What a magical matchup here in the Rose Bowl. And watching Ohio State do what they did to Tennessee, it felt good for the North. It did. It felt good for the bowl.
Look at that God, look at those mountains. Look at those mountains. San Gabriel Mountains. There's the field.
The San Gabriel.
San Gabriel Mountains.
I believe that means the Gabriel.
All parties and all agree that it's in the best interest of everybody and public safety that we postpone the game for 24 hours.
AJ Hawk's working for the bowl.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to beautiful Pasadena, California, the granddaddy of them all, the 111th Rose Bowl, which will be taking place on the most beautiful field in the history of football. The Oregon Ducks, who are the Big Ten champs, will take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The college football playoff is obviously in the middle of a transition era, but we go back in time into a movie-like setting to battle in the Big Ten to see who gets to move on and who goes home. Our UFO just flew over top B-2 Stealth Bomber and in the national anthem. And on a day in the United States of America where a heinous act has happened, it's a nice reminder that we'll get your ass. You might take a shot, but you're never gonna win. And 10 for Will Howard. Same exact play action. Drops it off to Jeremiah Smith. With space. He's a monster! Jeremiah Smith! First touch is a touchdown! Time. Shot that middle and Puka. Ooh! Touchdown!
See the split safeties right here. So Will Howard knows his read, looks him off, steps up in the pocket. Great throw.
Takes a shot. And what happens? Jeremiah Smith comes up with the ball. Hand off. Run to the left. Jordan James. Will Howard. Time. Oh, no. Jeremiah Smith's wide ass open. And that's the touchdown. Ohio State is kicking the living shite out of the Oregon Ducks. If Jeremiah Smith is on your team, I think you can win every game. Travion Henderson. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown! They can run it. They can spin it. They can kick it. This Buckeyes team is playing football at a level nobody else in the country is playing right now. Now there's a low snap. Goes left, throws back to the right. Jeremiah Smith's on the field. So that's another first down. Thus far, this game has been absolutely shite. Boom, 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 boom. The phone number step in. Oh, my God.
Wow.
That is so beautiful. You got Matt Hardy on the left there.
I see it at the 47. Unfortunately, my youngest son puked all over himself, went to the hospital, so my whole family's not here anymore to hear that. No. But I'm getting some updates every once in a while. He seems to be doing not much better. He puked over the whole section.
Jeez.
Instant urgent care, instant hospital.
Oh, no.
What type of shite was he eating? Is someone making salmon down here? We came down here and smelled like fish.
Look at this.
For those that have never been here, I would recommend coming and checking it out. Although this particular game was absolute shite. Woo!
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. You pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Feel good. Friday, December 5th. This is the Pat McAfee Show. I'm AJ Hawks in for Pat. He's in Atlanta. SEC Championship, boys. Big game. Football! What's up, Pat? Who you got? Oh, I see old Stanford Steve with the Ole Miss Q-Zip, huh? Stanford, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. AJ, it's really good
I don't
to
think
hear.
his mic. There's no way.
Yeah, it sounds off.
Is your mic not on? Is your mic picking him up, Pat?
Speaking there again?
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There you go.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, he sounds good.
You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I just noticed a little extra juice in AJ after last Saturday's outcome in Ann Arbor.
You're talking about Ohio State.
I want to congratulate AJ. I know.
Thank you.
There's something about your alma mater when you're watching. You can't do anything, but you're rooting your ass off for them. Yeah. And then that's been a long road. They got the national championship, but I could see it. I could feel it, and it's awesome. I'm happy for you guys.
How many days was it? 2,191 days. Wow, AJ, congrats you, AJ.
I mean, yeah, of course that there's a COVID year in there. It wasn't just strictly like a normal situation. There was a year they didn't play and all that, but yeah, it's good to get a win. It's good to be on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, you guys needed it, because if that would have been another 365 days on top of the 2,191, boy, that would have been – I mean, you needed it.
We did need it.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
We did need it. We did.
Let's talk about Ohio State now, playing Indiana, Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a lot. Obviously, the city of Indianapolis is shutting down for it. I mean, they got a Hoosiers basketball game at 3:30. Then, obviously, the Hoosiers are in the Big Ten championship for football, which wasn't even a pipe dream just 3 years ago for any Hoosier fan, which a lot of them live in Indianapolis. It's going to be ape shit there for the Big Ten championship. Your thoughts on these games? Because, obviously, this Hoosiers team is different than the Hoosiers team last year. That kind of they dookied the bed almost against an Ohio State team last year.
What do you guys think the crowd's going to be? Do you think 60-40?
SeatGeek has actually some stats on the amount of purchases from Indiana and then the purchases from Ohio. Now, this is just from SeatGeek. Big Ten Championship, 39% of the buyers have come from Indiana, 23% have come from Ohio. Last year's game between Oregon and Penn State had 25% buyers from Indiana, 25% buyers from Ohio. So, in general, this game draws a lot of local demand, but Indiana is making up for a disproportionate amount of fans this year. It's going to be very, very Hoosier heavy.
Yeah.
It's going to be very Hoosier heavy because the worry is Ohio State does this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana has a chance to do something they've never done before, and I think the city and the state are jacked up about it.
But you also, this is what makes Ohio State great, is how crazy and large that army is of a fan base.
Yes.
Like, they look at it as a challenge now. Like, you're going to get people that were like, before the Michigan game, were like, yeah, maybe we'll go, maybe not. All right, yeah, we're going. They said Indiana's going to have a home field. We're going. That's how awesome that fan base is. So we've been waiting all year for the matchup, Pat. I tend to think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I like the personnel on both defenses, and we've talked before, Ohio State, the biggest difference in this team from last year, they don't have the difference makers on the defensive line, but as a team and as a whole, they swarm you. And with Indiana, being at that game in Eugene, I was really impressed with how they lived on the other side of the line of scrimmage. They pride themselves on chaos, disruptiveness, getting in your backfield, and making quarterbacks make tough decisions. So it's a fascinating matchup. I wonder about what they're going to do with Pons. Will he track Jeremiah Smith on that side? So you got some chess matches there. But Indiana has all the goods you want to go against this. Indiana cannot let the ball go over their head. That's another thing that they keep everything in front of them, which is good. And this offensive line for Indiana, put up or shut up. They're in a conversation, and that's what Ohio State has also. So no matter where you look at it, the matchup is great. I mean, we didn't even talk about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, two quarterbacks potentially battling literally for the Heisman in Fernando and Julian Sain. Julian Sain, I guess, has been in a couple big games this year, but Mendoza, he obviously has been. But for the team as a whole, Indiana, we talked about this a couple different times, and I mentioned it about them maybe being stuck in the lights last year, not really believing who they are and what they are and why they are. This year, AJ, it feels like Indiana very much believes in who they are. And to Steve's point, both quarterbacks are good. Both sets of wide receivers are good. Both defenses. I mean, obviously, Ohio State has a potential historic defense. Indiana's defense, I think they're top 10 defense as well. What are your thoughts on kind of the mentality that Indiana has this year? And does Ohio State just have that because they're Ohio State and they have to have that, even though a lot of their players potentially have never been in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State players, I think they have a ton of confidence, but they also understand the deal, and they understand that Indiana is absolutely legit. They're not taking them for granted. I would promise you that. But I think Indiana believes. What are you talking about? We deserve to be here. Yeah, we are number 2 ranked team in the country, and they believe they could be number 1. So, yeah, I think that's what sets up to be an awesome game. And with Stanford Steve saying that, you might be right, especially there's these stats showing up too that Hembo saying how much zone coverage Indiana plays. I'm sure they're going to want Julian Sain to take a few chances, instead of just taking your medicine, dinking and dunking your way through. That's what teams would try to do to Aaron Rodgers when I was in Green Bay. Get in zone, let him complete balls in front, and we're going to go up, make a tackle, and hopefully he tries to take a chance over top, and that's when we pick it off or you have a mistake. Yep. That's what I would imagine Indiana's defense wants to do, but Ohio State, they're going to want to run the ball. You saw what happened against Michigan. They ran the ball the whole second half, so I would imagine they want to keep that going.
Lamar Bo Jackson, unbelievable how fast and quick, and his name just incredibly awesome. He's certainly a stud for Ohio State. So you're saying Indiana is this going to be a bend but don't break style defense? So maybe they will get yards, but it's going to get stingy down the red zone. Is what you're saying, AJ? If you're Indiana defense, that's what you're trying to do.
If I had to predict it, or I had to try to play defense against this Ohio State offense, hey, let's get them into third and medium, third and long if we can. Hopefully, try to get some pressure on them and try to get Julian Sain rattled, which we haven't really seen Julian Sain rattled. So nope, that's your only.
Isn't
hope,
that crazy?
Yeah.
I saw him with his cool hair after that Michigan game, and I'm like, this guy's never lost to Michigan. He has no idea. This 2,191 days thing, like Julian Sain's walking out of Ann Arbor, hair looks unbelievable, flawless, just did his thing. Favorite to win the Heisman, first-year starter. Nobody's really talking about him. And he's like, losing to Michigan, never heard of it. And then he just kind of moves. Feels like he's been the most ready for the moment out of anybody almost.
And that's what I was really happy with. Did you stay for the tunnel to see the teams last week come out? Like Michigan was hooting and hollering. Ohio State, the door opened. You heard the music in the locker room, and it was just a deadpan down the tunnel. Then they get the ball, first play, double move to Tate, gets broken up. But you're like, okay, Ohio State's coming out here throwing haymakers. And they always have that in their bag. You saw the one to Jeremiah Smith, then they open it up with the one to Tate. The offensive line has given them the ability. I don't want to take anything away from saying, but his offensive line has kept him protected.
Oh, this is a Will Howard thing. This guy's not good because everybody else is good around him.
No, not at all. I'm just saying they have done a great job of protecting him.
How about not only protecting him, also, Julian Sain, we're going to be back next year. We got Chris Henry Jr. on the way. 6'7". Jeremiah Smith's on the other side. We got this Lamar Bo Jackson guy who's going to be here. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Max Clare, does he have any years left?
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay, so he's tight end. I'm sure they'll find another one.
I'm pretty sure that who doesn't want to go play in that offense at tight end?
Honestly,
I mean, good Lord.
Who doesn't want to play for Ohio State? No, AJ, that is a real thing. Like, Chris Henry was legitimately torn, I think, on whether or not will Ohio State still be Ohio State, because Brian Hartline, who's the wide receiver coach, offense coordinator, who has had that wide receiver pipeline for so damn long. Incredible what he's done. Good luck to him at USF. But Chris Henry Jr. saying, I'm going to stay and go to Ohio State, and Ryan Day just operating in a manner as if they are in the middle of a dynasty. It feels like a cool thing to do, to have the honor to go to Ohio State at this point.
Get to practice every day with Jeremiah Smith. I mean, that's when everybody talks about Hartline in the legacy of that wide receiver room, that's what's made it. Is the younger guys come in and there's always an older guy that's showing them the reins, and it's just a way about going things in that offense. And you learn responsibility, playmaking ability, accountability. All that stuff is in that room because every guy is better than the next. It's amazing how it's worked out.
And then he's got Dahns on the other side. They're playing defense against in every single practice. I mean, AJ, it's a good time to be an Ohio State Buckeye, brother, unless Fernando Mendoza says that's us now down there in Indianapolis at the Loud House at the Big Ten Championship. Let's pivot away from that. Let's talk about this Big 12 championship game. Obviously, Texas Tech is a team that we have fallen in love with just because the way they've done it. Their money people are actual football people. So it's ball money people that are running it. They built up the trenches. They got a great D-line. Got a great offensive line. Obviously, when Baron Morton's playing, they look different than whenever they had their backup playing for a couple weeks. Texas Tech is stacked. Texas Tech seemingly for the long haul going to be great. That's good for Lubbock. BYU, Baird Bachmeier, his worst game was against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
He's a freshman. Is he able to bounce back? And what happens here implication-wise? There's one spot kind of looming. If BYU is to win this game, obviously that changes a lot. BYU loses this game, there's going to be chaos to get into that college football playoff.
Oh, man. And it's, what is it, 3 teams for 1 spot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I look at BYU. I like the position they're in, having already played Texas Tech. You talked about how they're stacked on the lines of scrimmage. I think it's a huge advantage to have known what you're getting up against and going to their place. Now you're going to neutral site. It's sold out. Jerry World, 90,000+. And what I've watched with BYU since that loss is they've taken the reins off Baird Bachmeier. They come out against TCU the following week. He throws for over 200 yards. He does it with his legs on the road at a tough game at Cincinnati. They come back down 14-0 against a UCF team who really disrupted him and sacked him 4 times last week. So I like, and LJ Martin's healthy. LJ Martin is a NFL running back, and now you have him full go. Texas Tech's going to get BYU's best shot. You got to figure this is backs against the wall. Every quarterback run is going to be in the playbook. Every trick play you got with LJ and Baird Bachmeier running the football is in there, and they have the receivers to make plays too. So I like the spot that BYU is in. You know you have to earn it. You've got to win the game to get in the playoff. And I think they're going to give Texas Tech all they can handle tomorrow.
12.5-point spread is not good news for BYU, says the stats from Hembo. You know, double-digit underdogs are 10-48 all-time in conference championship games straight up, and then double-digit underdogs from traditional Power 5 conferences are 4-34 all-time straight up in conference championship games. So what we're saying is certainly have an opportunity, but whenever the sports books view it as a dominating game for one side, in the championship games, it has tended to gone that way.
Yep.
On that note, Texas Tech beat the hell out of BYU the last
Yeah.
time. I mean, in Texas Tech, I think they're very comfortable against anybody. You talk about Sataki re-signs, Joey McGuire re-signs. So obviously these are 2 teams that are going to be the way that they are for the foreseeable future in the Big 12. But Texas Tech is a real deal. And because they're in the Big 12, nobody's really talking about it, AJ. I think if they were an SEC team or a Big 10 team, I think they get a lot more chatter. But Texas Tech is built the right way if you want to go on a college football playoff national championship run, Age.
No, they absolutely are. They're hot right now. I wanted to ask Stanford Steve, like, okay, 12.5-point line. Is there a chance that Texas Tech just blows them out of the water here and we have a blowout?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing. BYU did not play well in Lubbock, AJ. When you go back and look at the muff punt, they missed the field goal. They shanked the punt. Like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Rodriguez had a pick and a forced fumble, which he seems to do every single week. And the field position was tilted the whole game. Now, I will say, 7 red zone possessions, 5 field goals, 2 touchdowns. You know, so there was some positive, and they did get after, Morton with pressures in that game. And that's the one thing about Texas Tech that I need to see again. I want to see that offensive line. That's what you have to rely on. When you go on and play these championship games, road games, neutral site, whatever, your offensive line, your defense have to travel and play well. Texas Tech is up against it tomorrow with all the pressure on them. I'm really interested to see how they defend or how they block BYU, knowing that they're playing with their hair on fire and nothing to lose.
Congrats to both those teams. Big 12's tough conference. Yeah, hard edge has been found too, and Texas Tech won by 49. Okay, in their last game against a really difficult team in a really difficult place. They can certainly turn it on if they want to. And then you're wearing the Ole Miss quarter zip here, just kind of sending a little message to people down in Oxford saying, hey, we still love you. We still think about you in this entirety. And then also, obviously, Ole Miss looking to get into the SEC championship in the future with old Pete, maybe trying to win national championship. Alabama and Georgia here playing at the SEC championship. What do you think is the storyline of this game? And why are you wearing and repping for the Ole Miss folks? Even the polo underneath. I mean, it's a full thing.
We got the deal. I'm thinking Ole Miss, man. Like, it's a rough spot to be in.
You got the whole deal.
Trying. Whole deal.
Whole deal.
Ken Crane, shout out.
You got the utter deal. You got the new deal. You got this deal. You got that deal. But the Ole Miss people have been through it.
Yeah.
They have been through it.
Yeah, and they have an opportunity. Imagine if we go there for a home playoff game. That would be insane.
Man, it would be insane. For some people, it would be a little bit worse, I think, than others. You know, I think the Ole Miss people think some of the people up there on the game day set were certainly doing their absolute best to make sure that Lane was going to go elsewhere. I don't think that's the case. I don't
think so either.
I think like a lot of the people, now granted, that's not just knowing them, and then obviously you can put together a lot of theories. But I think like in theory is where like Herbie was talking. Like in theory, he should be a lot of coach's team. Like he loves his team. He puts his team together 6 years he's been there. He should be able to do that. The current reality, that was never going to be able to work, I think. So that's certainly the counterpoint to it.
Yeah.
But it's just passionate bunch, passionate conference, and Ole Miss this close. I mean, to going on a run right now. So it's a wild, wild scene down there. But I appreciate you doing that. Let's talk about this SEC championship game, though. Georgia, Alabama. Georgia might be one of the most dominant teams in the country right now.
Yeah, and then I think it's one of the hardest things we have to do when we're doing this on a weekly basis, Pat, is forgetting what a team looked like the week previous. Georgia did not look good against Georgia Tech. They lose Bobo, their center, and after they lose him, all communication is off. Georgia Tech plays some zone. Stockton had trouble with that, and Georgia just didn't look like themselves without their front guy making all the calls up front. And then I go back to the time they played Alabama. They played that game without their two starting tackles. So they have to get the run game going. You see the play action that they get going, throwing the ball to the tight end. That gets everything going. They like the up-tempo. Gunner likes things fast and hectic. But last week they got slowed down and they did not look good. And on the other side, people just want to talk about how Alabama can't run the football. I think they got a pretty darn good defense. Now, they're not going to have Overton up front, but that secondary, I think, a lot like Ohio State, where they help out in the run game, where they don't have to line up in the box. They're that athletic and fast where they can help out on the run. So Georgia has to run the ball to keep those guys down, I think, with the playmakers. And I still like Alabama on the perimeter with Ty throwing the football. My question is this the Ryan Williams game? Like, where has he been? He needs to. They have a huge advantage with their NFL receivers against that secondary of Georgia. Georgia's not as bad as they were early in the year. They've got experience, but I still like the NFL players that Ty has to throw with, and I think that's the difference in the game, and I lean towards Bama.
Ty Simpson, special arm talent. Obviously, whenever you have weapons, you have weapons. Georgia's defense, to your point, has, though, kind of found their way a little bit. Being able to get to the quarterback, being able to stop the run. This Georgia team has been very good as... Obviously, they're in the SEC championship, kind of clearly states. Kalen DeBoer as an underdog against big-time coaches, some good stats coming out. As an underdog, he's 3-0 versus Dan Lanning, 2-0 versus Steve Sarkisian, 2-0 versus Kirby Smart. Sorry, he was underdog in 6 or 7 of those games. So DeBoer, I think, kind of relishes in the underdog. Nobody thinks we're going to be able to win kind of atmosphere with his team. Maybe they're able to get it done here. And the chaos of college football playoff doesn't seem to really have an effect on this particular game, but who knows? Who knows whenever you talk about it all. And then let's talk about the real chaos. Notre Dame, Miami. We had Pete Bevacqua on earlier today. I think he did a good job. I think Pete Bevacqua did a good job. Now, Gumpy is a Miami fan. He goes, well, there's some things he certainly omitted from his case as he was speaking up here, and that's kind of the world we're in right now. What do you think is going to be the biggest argument after this weekend whenever we talk about starting with 12, counting down to 1?
Nice job there.
I think it's almost time.
I was going to say, when are you guys going to get going?
We've been going.
Come on. As much as we should,
What the hell is that?
Oh,
we got an Indiana jersey on.
Sleepy Steve.
Oh, we got an Ole Miss tarp on? Don't do that.
Hey.
Sleepy Steve sleeping on the fucking countdown jig. I can't believe it.
Sleepy Steve.
Get it cranked up. Come on.
Sleepy Steve.
I think we should play it every show.
Been cranking that.
Yes.
Yeah, we have been cranking that.
Yeah.
That's a good call, Ty.
Thank you.
We
We've
crank
been
that
cranking
right now.
Not enough, though.
Yeah,
we know it. Not enough.
We
Don't be siding with this.
No,
guy.
we should
Appreciate
start
it.
and end every show with it.
And we need to learn the other lines.
Yeah, you got to lose the other line. Remix.
No, there
Get
is
remix
already
going.
a remix. So what we had heard, there was a radio cut, I guess, where there's an extended version with a third verse that we have never heard until last week. We were running the video, and then where we thought it stopped, it continued. There was a whole nother surprise for us at the end. So it might be a newer song in our eyes. Once again, not enough people respected it for what it was last year, which is a banger.
You got to keep it fresh.
Yeah, well, you're starting with 12.
Counting down to 1.
And on that note, who do you think is going to be a part of the big chatter about 12-1, the CFP national champion?
Well, here's the deal. I thought it started this past Tuesday with Miami not jumping Notre Dame, because now you have two teams that aren't playing this week, and I just don't see how a committee is going to jump a team with either team playing this weekend. So I think it's basically set. I am on the argument for Miami. When teams are that even, resume, record, what else do we have? Oh, they played? Who won? Give me that team. That's the way I feel about it, but I know it's not going to play out like that.
That's kind of what Bevacqua said. Bevacqua said they've already decided Notre Dame and Miami, so I understand what everybody's saying. We're a different team now than we were then, which is certainly a valid argument, and the reason why college football will never be able to get 100% right is because there's an argument for every team. If I'm Miami, I'm certainly not happy about it either in its entirety, but Bevacqua said it's already been decided. His worry is Alabama. Like, he's saying that you need to lump us with Alabama. Both had tough starts, tough losses.
Yeah.
Obviously, Florida State vastly different than Miami and Texas A&M. But that is who I think Pete and Notre Dame people are saying we need to be having a convo with, as opposed to Miami, even though that's not the reality.
Yeah, but if Alabama wins this game, it's no argument to me. Their resume supersedes anything Notre Dame brings to the table when you talk about that.
What if they
with
lose
wins.
this game?
What if they lose? I could see Notre Dame, jumping Alabama.
And then people would be like, well, what's the purpose of playing a conference championship?
Understood. Everybody,
You're a part of the problem, Steve.
No, not me.
Steve.
Not me. Not me.
Sleepy Steve,
Not
part of the problem. It's unbelievable.
my beliefs.
All right, I can't wait to see you tomorrow morning, brother. We appreciate the hell out of
You
you.
ready?
Are you ready?
I can't wait.
What are you asking Lane Kiffin?
I'm not on that desk.
What would you ask him, though? What do you want to ask him?
I want to ask him if he studied Coach Saban or he's been around him so much that his hand gestures are identical. The press conference was like, I was like, oh my God, it's Coach talking in the meeting.
Oh, you
like
think
the same hand gestures all the time. He even did it with Marty on the tarmac or the trail, wherever the hell they were. The hand gestures are identical.
Okay, so I thought he won that press conference, by the way.
Yeah.
The room laughing, showed some empathy. He was trying to get choked up, Ty. Is that what our takeaway was?
Yeah,
He's
for
trying
sure.
there with-
Yep, didn't quite get there, but he made a pretty convincing, compelling argument that, wow, this guy really cares about this.
And Connor doesn't believe it, obviously. That's a hell of a face right there. But I think what he was trying to send was like, hey, this was a hard decision. Like, he tried to say that a couple different times while also complimenting LSU and telling them that they're the number one job in the country, which is what he has to say as the coach of the team. But I think there's going to be a lot of information coming out of his convo tomorrow. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the fucking championship Saturday. And we love you, Steve. We appreciate the hell out of you, man.
I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's not another guy, or the other guy, or the other guy. It's Stanford Steve.
What do you think, Comment? What do you don't believe that Lane Kiffin was getting choked up?
Absolutely not. I don't even really want to go into it just because of my true feelings on
I'm
Lane
trying. I
Kiffin.
don't know. I don't remember seeing or like I don't remember watching and thinking like, oh, he's trying to get him.
It was when he was talking about when he first pulled up and he finally saw the stadium. He was like,
When he called Coach
wow,
O. He called Coach O as well.
I felt the power of this
Stadium.
place.
Yeah, he called Coach O and said, Coach O, I feel like I got to start talking like you right now because I'm down here, is kind of what he said, which kind of goes back to Brian Kelly saying my family as soon as he got down there. So that's certainly something. All right, boys. What a day. What a Friday. Hey, listen to Dookie, AJ, on your way back to Ohio.
I'll do it again. Believe me, I will. It's good. It's got a nice
turn
little
it
beat.
down. No sound. Just run the clip. Just run the song.
Oh, that's it. Okay, I can do that too. Yeah, that's easy.
I had my iPad last night and my phone just running it all night last night. Just trying to steal. Just trying to. The goal here is to let the algos know on these, these music platforms, because we're starting at zero here again, which is cool. That's actually like kind of a fun thing. New profession, new brand, new ideas, new canvas, everything like that. So it's like letting the algorithm in the platforms know that it exists is a big deal. And I'm enjoying the hell out of it, man. It's been a very emotional kind of dive through the notes section. Dookie, not so much. Dookie was a freestyle that we decided to make into a song. But like all the other songs that are coming, it's like there's some history and there's some stories and some mindsets and some messages I hope my daughter hears. So like I'm very pumped and thankful for the opportunity from the folks Ernest and Seth and Big Loud and DeVille Records and Jelly Roll piecing this whole thing together. It's like, this has been really cool. Last night was a lot of fun, and I'm very, 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 very fucking thankful to be living a life in which I can try to do these things that I'm such a fan of. And it's crazy, AJ. It's a crazy life. It's the dumbest life of all time. I'm trying to enjoy it.
That's awesome, man. And you got to be around, like, it sounds like all the people that you have collabed with that helped you with this, like, are all, like, the top of their game and the best of the best.
Yeah, so I go to the NFL. I have Adam Vinatieri in the same, kind of world. We go into the internet space. I get a chance to kind of watch Portnoy as the Barstool brand is literally putting rocket ships on with investment from private equity and go from Barstool, from what it was with one floor in New York, 2 floors in New York, to this conglomerate media company worth billions or whatever the case is. I got a chance to watch that. So it's like everything that Greeny was the first one to really put me on TV, so I get to watch him kind of do his shit. It's like I get very, very, very lucky that I get a chance to watch people who are very good do something.
Bob Kavoyan, too.
Bob Kavoyan from Bob and Tom, yes, exactly. Still coming through the office. It's great to see him. It's like I've been very fucking lucky that I get a chance to watch goats kind of do their shit and then try to either, see what I could take from it or see what we can learn from it and try to give it a go. And in the music space, it's like, yeah, Ernest is a fucking hit maker. That's why he makes hits. He makes good songs. Like the perfect person to help me out with it all. And then Seth, being a co-founder of a record label, Big Loud, which the people on Big Loud are like the people in music right now, like actually. So like for this guy to take time out of his life to be like, no, man, let's do this. Let's try to make it something. It's like, it's been really fucking cool, man. It's been really cool. And then the music community reaching out to me saying like that they're pumped that I'm doing this and like welcome and all this stuff has been vastly different than basically any other profession that we have kind of dabbled into. So I'm very, very thankful for the music community and very thankful for the opportunity. And I would just, if you want to listen to it, certainly give it a go. There's more coming, and get creative with this thing. Get creative. I want to see it. We can't wait to see it. AJ, I love you, man. I appreciate you, boys. Great work this week, boys. Great work this week.
You too, man. Congratulations.
Yep.
Yes. It's awesome.
Behind the glass, good work, boys. Good work.
Yep.
Foxy, great editing. Really good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Like Kirk said, great job, Foxy, for the Lions win.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Herbie, I love that man. I love that man. Just kind of bouncing around.
Was Peter really trying to dig underneath the stage?
Yeah, so the ball fell in there, and then so he knocked the one stage that was connected to this stage back so he could get down. Turns out that would have been enough room because there's a wall back there, so he kind of almost got stuck as the camera. He's awesome. He's what I would like to say. I think Peter's an awesome dog.
Oh yeah.
I think anybody that's ever met him is like, Peter's an awesome dog. Peter's an awesome dog. He is a dog though. Like he's a dog. Big dog, strong dog,
big
fast
balls.
dog. Loves getting a ball.
Yeah.
Loves getting a ball. He sees a check ball, at all times. So I love him. But yeah, he was going to rearrange his whole fucking stadium. So, that is just that's Peter football there. To D-Bone, Talk, and the graphic design boys, appreciate all your hard work this week, boys. Appreciate it. Zeke, Mitt, Bill, Squad, appreciate you guys. Gumpy, really good stuff out of you this week.
There you go, Gump.
Really good, Gump.
See you, Gump.
Gump like that over last night. That first half was obviously a little bit scary. It's nice to go into the weekend with a couple dubs on Gump.
Yep, more points.
And how about the United States Soccer? We got a good draw for the World Cup, don't we?
Unbelievable draw. Australia, Paraguay, and then the winner of a 4-team playoff between Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo. So
what does that mean?
USA should be top in that group the way I see it.
Okay, so
Kosovo.
Slovakia, I think is what he meant to say, but obviously Canada could pronounce it a little bit differently. We're not 100% sure.
Their hockey team.
Australia, how are they? They're big athletic people. Are they good at the soccer or no?
They're decent at the World Cup, but it shouldn't be a problem as I see it.
Is it Ray Gunn playing though?
No, I don't know if Ray Gunn's playing.
That was the dancer, right?
It makes sense.
There we go. Here it is. So United States, Australia, Paraguay, and then the European playoff there. We should make it through here, right?
Yeah, it's a great draw. Great draw.
Uh-oh.
How many teams
We got
total
Berhalter
enter?
and the boys.
Do we know?
32.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, AJ. Go
30.
ahead.
So there's 32 teams start.
40.
Or how many, Gump?
48 this time.
48. Okay. So if we get through this stage, what's it down to? How many get out of this stage? I guess
16, right?
To a pop?
No,
just one team get out of this.
32.
So two teams come out of it. So it did go. It used to be round of 16, but now it's round of 32, then round of 16. Obviously.
Wow.
So the elimination round just adds a whole nother game, basically. So in the past, if we made it to the elimination round, it was a huge ordeal. This one, we need to make it to an elimination round and win an elimination game, I think, for us to consider this a success, especially with how we feel about this team, Gumpy.
Yeah, I'd say win 2 because of the added teams as well. I think with this squad, the way they're playing coming into this, I think quarterfinals should
we're
be
America.
the goal.
Aren't we trying to win?
Talking Elite Eight?
We're America. We want to win the tournament, don't we? What do we?
Yeah, you
what are
obviously
trying to say?
want to win, but yeah, I'm just saying if you got to the quarterfinal, I think that would be good.
Okay.
Now, I obviously don't believe that. We're trying to win the Super Duper Cup here. Okay, Gumpy's trying to say what realistic expectations should be for this particular squad versus maybe the rest of the world who's had their coach for longer than 3 months, like we've had with our guy coming into hosting a World Cup cycle. But what Ponche's done is try to find a different group of Americans to play on the soccer team, a more dog-like squad.
Yes.
So I think we actually do have the players that could win in those elimination games as opposed to getting scared in those elimination games, which seems like the personality trait that Ponch is looking for in the team is like fighters, dogs, and in those big games will play their best. Connor, is that what you're thinking as well?
Yeah, like to be honest, winning, of course, the whole thing would be great as long as we don't look like a bunch of bitches. I'm good with it. You know, if we go out there and we make it through our group, even if we don't make it through our group, if we're basically snapping necks and taking names, I'm okay with that. If Australia, Paraguay, in the country of European playoff C ends up just limping away from the group, that's how I'll feel good about the entire team.
Agreed.
Oh,
I think we lost you.
Oh, yeah. You muted?
Again. Someone mute you? Did Gump step on it? Or Peter chew on it? Is that one working, Gump? We're still
no, we can hear the stadium noises, but not your mic.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, we
all
can
the
still hear the stadium situation, but not you guys. Gump, sing a little bit.
No.
That's a weird situation.
That is interesting.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
No, we got none of that audio, but we have stadium audio. It feels like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got stadium audio.
We're hearing like the
maybe that's Gump's other mic.
Oh yeah, Gump, it might be on your other mic. We're picking it up. Sounds like at your table. See if that's the one.
Peter must have just been gnawing on those wires.
Gump ever do any mime work in Canada?
He did actually on Saturday nights.
Yep.
Oh, he's in a box.
He's in a box.
He's in a box.
Are you in a box? Where are you? Oh, now can you get out of the box?
Oh, someone's knocking.
How do you get out of the box?
Get out of there,
Answer the door.
Yeah, answer the door.
Get out of there, Goms.
He seems kind of like a one-trick pony.
Oh, he's a robot.
You're a left-handed door opener? There's no door handles on the left side.
Tight fit.
Oh, there.
You guys in a European phone booth?
This is amazing.
No, we still can't hear you.
No.
It's pretty amazing.
All right.
Yep.
Team.
I'm all the way in Eugene, smoking on some new green, changing up the routine, gratitude truly, feel like new school dean, life's pretty cool, G3 jobs, fuel means tank top, blue jeans, never change, crew needs, deep shots, view screens, movie star, 2 scenes, bank account juicy, canceled who me, boogeyman spooky, folks watch who sees, hating folks dookie, yeah you waiting yeah you waiting folks dookie, yeah you waiting folks dookie, yeah I'm up here in Eugene, smoking on some new